My wife said she had a therapy session, but I caught her cheating.
She was having an emotional affair with her therapist.
Ooh, that could be. I, 37 male, caught my wife, Cass, 32 female, cheating on me. We were married in 2018. We met a few years before that through business because we are in the same industry. By the way, this comes from Popular Problem 4565. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So the reason I married her was because I had major turmoil in my life. Great reason to marry someone.
That doesn't sound like normal reasoning.
But she stuck with me.
Okay.
But she stuck with me.
Okay.
We had a small break before we got back together. When we started talking again, I found out my father was going to jail.
Congratulations.
Oh, no. The terrible part is my father had custody of my nephew, Liam, 4 male. At this time, I was the only family member able to take him on because my brother was also currently in jail. My God.
Well, I think on a real level now, congratulations that you're not in jail.
Yes, there we go.
Because it seems like it runs around in the family a little bit.
Through this, she said we would do this together. I knew I wanted to marry her right then and there. So I asked her to marry me on a weekend, and then we found out that she was miraculously pregnant the following week.
Sounds a little too good to be true.
Miraculous. We went from just talking again to a family in no time. We were married in 2018 and everything was great.
Peaches and cream.
So beautiful.
As far as the eyes can see.
Fast forward to 2021. We moved states because I had to take a new job because our business was derailed by the vid. This new job required me to travel a lot, and she wanted to be close to her family for help with our 3 kids. We had 2 beautiful girls on top of my nephew. Cass had to quit her last job and worked locally with family. She hated being home because her family was full of constant judgment and asks. When help was needed from them, it was like pulling teeth. It honestly pulled us down and reminded her why she left the first time. Now, her old employer asked her back, but this job was 4 hours away, and without really discussing it extensively like a couple should, it required her to be gone during the week.
Okay. It happened, right?
I think this could be doable. This could be doable. She was going to work this into a remote position, but as she started the job, she started to like being away. Put an ICU in the chat, if you see. She left me to take care of the kids, which I love, but it was hard and I felt abandoned. I still traveled 2 days a week and had to rely on and deal with her family, not to mention all of the duties of taking care of our 3 kids. She would come home on the weekends and it would be fight after fight. I wanted and needed help, but when she came home, she would hardly want to hang out with us. Instead, she'd go out with her brother and her friends. The business we are in is primarily male. She started being distant and we were hardly having spicy sleep anymore.
Well, one of you was hardly having spicy sleep anymore.
Oh, don't say it. Don't say it.
Sounds like it.
Oh, God. But last summer, we moved to where she was working. Her time there changed her. She is a beautiful, tall blonde.
Who else fits that description in this room sitting next to me in a blue chair?
Me.
Keon. Constantly getting hit on by her male coworkers and customers. She had a coworker, Seth, 33 male, who I knew before from being in the same industry. I liked him. I never felt threatened by him because all dealings with him had been good. He put out there that he was a moral man, as far as I could tell. I did not feel threatened because he was not Cass's type. After we moved, I tried everything I could to make Cass happy. Listening, emotionally supporting, complimenting, and taking on any household task to try to make an effort, but to no avail. He needs to do more, Dakota.
You need to disguise yourself as the man she's boinking.
Brilliant. Now, what I did was never good enough. We finally got to a point where we both agreed that therapy was our best option. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Are you sure?
We agreed on individual therapy first. She found an online therapist, which I thought wasn't the best, but it was what she wanted to do. One day, she asked me what my plans were later in the week, and I told her I didn't have to travel and I would be working from home. She asked if I could work from a coffee shop that day because she wanted space. Lock in. She wanted to work from home that day and had a therapy session, so I said, sure. We have always shared our location due to safety. A few times in recent weeks, her location would randomly turn off. she said it was an issue with her phone. The day she had her session in the afternoon, she made sure my location was working and called me to make sure. I felt it was suspicious. I asked her if everything was okay, and she said yes. I turned off my location, and 15 minutes before her session, she asked why it wasn't working. Oh, that was brilliant. He turns off the location, and right before the session, and she magically messages him.
Yeah, seems to know, like, what's up with my location?
So I told her, my phone must have had the same issue as hers. She asked if I was still at the coffee shop, and I said yes. She said I could come back in 2 hours. My spider senses went off.
Yeah, because it's probably the most suspicious thing someone could ask you. Like, oh, I don't know exactly where you are anymore, right? As
of this second, as of 15 minutes ago.
Don't come home for 2 hours. Okay.
So I left the coffee shop as I could see her location was not at the house. I drove back and parked down the street. 5 minutes later, I saw Seth and Cass both get out and walk into the house. It was obvious that she wasn't going to therapy. Well, a therapy of a different sense.
You don't know Seth. You don't know him. He could be a wonderful therapist. He has questionable methods, but he's a professional.
Stress reliever.
A consummate professional.
I was going to say, something's therapeutic going on over there.
Or maybe he's a consummating professional.
Well, now it was obvious she wasn't going to therapy. I waited for 10 minutes as my heart was beating uncontrollably and the thought of what I would find in there and how it would ruin me. But I had to know. So I walked in and there was no one in the living room. There's no reason a man that Cass works with should be in any other room. I made it to our bedroom and opened the door to find them about to do the deed.
It's not what it looks like. We were just playing dominoes.
No. He was about to say, how does that make you feel? And it's crazy because it works both ways. It works both ways.
He's just a A+ therapist.
Yeah. Except for one issue, Dakota. He was butt-ass naked.
Oh, no.
On my bed with her almost there. I looked at her and yelled, is this a new type of therapy?
Oh, and then both of them went, oh, that's funny.
Opie's got jokes.
He's got jokes.
In the heat of the moment, he's got jokes.
Both of them had utter shock on their faces. She ran after me, trying to say it wasn't what it looks like. Seth exited as quickly as he could as Cass made sure that she was between us. I tried to leave, but Cass was physically blocking me. All I wanted to do was leave. I was a former defensive lineman and used my old moves to evade her
Dude,
without having to get physical.
He chopped. He hit
her with a juke.
Hit her with the discombobulation. He spun out of that house before she even knew what was going on.
Now, once I got to my car, she blocked me from leaving. What is she doing? In order to leave, I had to trick her like I wanted to talk, but I sprinted to the car and then took off. God.
Wow.
I think she broke a nail trying to grab the door handle as I was speeding away. And we have an update. We're not even halfway through the saga, but I'm very glad because we need to talk.
Oh, yes, sir.
My brothers in Christ. Keon, let's start with you.
Hit me with it. What do you got?
What's our next step? We literally we drove away with a fingernail in the door. What do we do immediately from here? What is your next step?
First, I got to give her props. I'm a lineman or a forward lineman, and she blocked me the entire way.
True.
Can we talk about that for like a quick second? That's crazy.
I mean, he's probably going like 5%. Let's be real. Do you think he's going full game speed at... We need to stop talking sports, literally.
I mean, he said he put his moves on her, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's like a move. I imagine her at the front door, like arms like against the door, being like, you can't leave. And then he just hit her with like a whoosh, and just like, she's like, wait, how are you now behind me? And like, because he just, yeah, whatever. There's a lot of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that I just saw a naked man on my bed, it's not what it looks like. My brain's going in spirals in every direction. I just need to wind down.
Yeah.
Calm myself, gather myself, and just say, honey, I think we're done. I think it's divorce time.
Yeah.
That's too far.
We need a beat. We need a beat.
thinking it might be time for a little divorce.
Oh.
Not the D she's been getting this whole time.
She's about to get 2 Ds.
She's going to get the big divorce.
Yeah. I don't need even to question her anymore. I don't need any more evidence. I saw with my 2 own eyes.
Yeah.
On my bed.
But guys,
This isn't what it looks like. I just have a mole on my whatever part of me he was looking at.
they both have a mole, and they both are inspecting each other to make sure
Yes.
that it's safe.
In totally platonic mole examinations. I just didn't want to worry you.
All right, boys and girls, we have the update. Let's get into it.
I'm scared.
You should be.
I'm afraid.
So, while I was driving away, the first thing I thought of were my kids. I immediately drove to their school and picked them up. At this point, I was getting bombarded with calls and texts from her. I decided to block her. My only thought of the situation was, where are my kids and were they going to be okay? Even with what I just saw, I was still thinking about what was best for them. Under my supervision and control, I could make sure they were okay. Once I got the kids, I drove to a family member 2 hours away. This happened on a Friday, and I was able to take a weekend and have time with just me and the kids. During this drive, I started to get calls from her mother, and she was our mediator. The only thing I told her was to say the kids are safe. I told her not to share anything else about our situation. Mother-in-law agreed and told Cass that the kids were safe. The only thing that brought out positivity were the kids. We did a bunch of activities through the weekend and had a great time together. They wondered where their mom was. I told them that this was a weekend for daddy to spend time with them. I still wanted to put Cass in a positive light and not to be spiteful to their mother. And the kids will eventually make their own mind up. So some of my close friends that had given me great advice in the past have told me that I'm doing the right thing by not acting rash. With the video, I could totally ruin her and Seth, but what would that do to my kids? So I guess there is video evidence. I'm guessing maybe like a security camera or something.
I wonder if
Or maybe he was recording?
the video, if he was recording, or if maybe it's a video of like the post confrontation. She's like trying to block him. She's losing
Right.
fingernails in the car.
Right.
Oh, clearly he's got something.
I mean, he was fully aware of what he was going into or knew it was going to be crazy. It's highly possible he could have started recording before he opened the door. Wow.
Dude.
It's AI.
Yeah,
It's
that's
AI.
gonna be the giveaway. That's
That's
gonna
it.
be the get away with it card for everyone. That was AI.
It was AI.
That
That's
was
it.
AI.
But regardless, I am going to be able to put some stipulations on how we move forward one way or the other, and I'm trying to figure out what those are. I'm not trying to get back with her. I'm trying to find the best way to move forward for our kids. We have a second update.
I think you should move forward without being together,
Yep.
and you should move forward without outwardly hating each other.
For the kids.
Yeah. Don't let the kids know about it.
Yeah.
Hate each other in the silence of your own hearts. Yeah, I don't know. You need a divorce.
Yeah, just divorce. Bro, just that's all there is.
Straight up.
Just
Yeah.
divorce.
Divorce and insulate the kids from it as best as you can.
Yeah. Update number 2. I finally had a sit down with Cass. Both she and Seth went into defensive mode, trying to protect themselves as much as they possibly could. I guess Seth is now here too.
I'm sorry, she and Seth? Seth is here?
He forgot his pants.
True.
Oh, God.
First off, Opie says, I did an at-home paternity test.
Okay.
Both of the children are indeed mine.
And we score.
There we go. There was some doubt based on what the Reddit community was saying, but I got the truth. When I arrived at the house, the first thing that Cass wanted me to do was give me a hug. I denied her. She doesn't get to keep playing on my emotions anymore. I honestly felt nothing as she began to cry. I wanted the upper hand in the conversation, so I let her go first. She began by telling me how sorry she was and how she can't get the image of my face out of her head from when I walked in on her with Seth. She said she had time to reflect on all the good things and the strides I made recently and realized that she was going a different direction in her head no matter what I did. The situation has made her realize what she did in having me as a partner. We haven't been intimate as of late. She told me that she was convinced that Seth would be a one-time thing to see if she could be intimate with someone else.
Buddy,
Dude, she sucked.
who do you think I am? You think
Oh,
I'm the
boy.
You think I'm the mayor of Stupid Town? You think I'm the captain of the Dum Dums? I'm the team captain?
She just wanted to try it to see if she could do it once.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh, once. Did you need to go back to kindergarten and learn your numbers? Because you didn't just do this once. There is 0% chance.
I only did it this many times. I cheat this many.
No. You've done this the whole time you've been weird about your location. You've been doing this at the very least.
We shall see. She wanted to make sure that it wasn't just her and her emotional state on why she couldn't be emotionally and physically intimate with me. I didn't believe this for 1 second.
Yeah.
She knew I had the video and asked me what I was going to do with it. With us being in the same industry, there were a lot of implications that could happen. It would ruin their reputations because of her and Seth. There, I realized what she was saying earlier was a ploy. Cass having these self-absorbed person-like tendencies, it made me realize that's what she was worried about the whole time. And there goes my plan. I relayed to her that I don't believe her and that actions speak louder than words. Her asking what I was going to do with the video told me that she was really worried about it. She asked me not to implicate Seth in his job because he had a family.
Oh, so
no.
Seth's family needs to find out about this now, huh?
It was her decision, and she convinced him to bring him over and test to see if she could be intimate again, which is complete BS.
That's so cool. She's like, this was actually for you. This was for me to be
for
a
us.
better wife for you.
This was science.
Yeah.
I said the moral man he is. Remember, Seth's a moral man. Don't forget that. He should have known better. I understand what it's like to have a relationship with somebody at work, but there are lines you don't cross. He was in that bed too. I was pissed and realized how little of a priority I was again. With my kids in mind, I need to make sure that I'm taking the correct steps to protect them and myself. I told her immediately that Seth needs to find another job. With our industry being very small, he should be able to find one very easily due to the experience that you need. If he doesn't do this, this video is going to his work and to his wife. She deserves to know.
Yeah.
She said she couldn't ask him to do that. I told her that this decision was both of yours, and how am I supposed to just let everything go without consequences? The world doesn't work like that. She said that she and Seth are not on speaking terms because of what had happened. He blames her for what happened. I told her, you'll see him at work. I'm sure you can pull him aside. Not my problem. I then began to tell her that she needs to go find a place immediately. She said she had no place to go. I said, not my problem. I would take the kids to my other family members, but their school is close and I can't take them that far. There's no immediate family where we live. I told her that I have the upper hand due to the evidence. Why would I be the one that would be forced to leave, as well as Seth getting to keep his job and his marriage intact? I did nothing wrong. I didn't deserve this. She said she didn't know what to do, and I said, that's not my problem. I explained to her that self-absorbed people's tendencies affected me mentally and emotionally throughout our relationship. She needed to hear it because self-absorbed people think they never do anything wrong, and then they gaslight. She needed to hear everything I had to say in order to become a better person and mother to our kids, but that's the extent of our relationship moving forward. I told her I'm not your friend anymore and not to bother me with any of her BS. In the past, she knew I was a problem solver and would use her problems to try to gaslight me. I asked her to leave after, and she had no response. By the way, the one response you should have to the question of, do you listen to every episode of OK Storytime on podcast is
yes.
It's yes. Go to Spotify, Apple, iHeart, wherever you listen to your podcast, search OK Storytime. Get 2,500 episodes, I believe. They're all there. And counting. But Dakota, we are imminently approaching the end of this saga here. I have to ask you, does it seem OP's like, yeah, again, it's a little like scorched earth without the, or like, not scorched earth, but like we're kind of in that territory because, for example, he said if Seth didn't get the job, he would tell the wife in the work, but he's not telling the wife if he gets a new job.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I think clearly he was cheating on his wife. His wife should know that happened, that she's not just living a lie.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he just needs to talk to a lawyer, man, at this point, honestly, because he's got all this stuff and there's kids involved and there's going to be a divorce, and it's like, get a lawyer, do whatever the lawyer says to do. But from a morally speaking standpoint, tell Tell his wife.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do anything with work. Work will happen by itself. You do not have to concern yourself with work. Whatever.
If anything, like, and I mean, he was more talking about Seth's work, but I'm like, don't you want your wife to have a stable income to contribute to the future of the kids? I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't want to just blow up the work. That's always such like a move.
Yeah.
It's like unless they're a danger to the people around them, or like don't do that.
Yeah.
Because it's just because guess what? Now she's gonna probably be looking for a way to get back at you, and then it'll happen again and again and again and again. So just
I would say just make it the cut plain and simple. Divorce, tell the wife, and try and stay out of it as much as you can. Because you want to put yourself in the wife's, Seth's wife's situation as well.
Yeah.
You would want to know too.
Exactly. Like he went to the house to find out himself. So
like, who knows if they've done it at their house? And how long has this been going on? You don't need to put yourself in that drama. Just tell the wife, let them deal with their situations, and say bye. You did this.
100% agree. Have crimes or have punishments that fit the crime.
Yeah.
That's all
I've
I'm
heard
asking.
that's a good book.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking. Well, let's get into this finale here. I plan to let Seth's wife know, and I want Seth gone from the company first. In order not to affect my kids too much, I don't want Cass's job to be in jeopardy. However, if they don't do what I want, then that's their choice, and they know the consequence. Yeah, I feel he's doing too much. He's doing too much. I have contacted a lawyer. We meet in the middle of the week. He will have it all laid out in front of him, even things from the past of our relationship. We have a couple relevant comments. Comment number 1. By the way, a friendly reminder that revenge porn laws exist. I'm pretty sure that OP's evidence, quote unquote, could be seen very differently in court. A reply, it depends on the state laws, but if you show the other person's spouse, it's not under these laws. Again, states defer. It's only illegal to post them on Twitter, OnlyPans, or whatever platform. My cousin did this with his wife and showed her affair partner's wife. She threatened to sue, but it didn't hold up since she only showed the affair partner's wife. Cousin had a clean divorce for the most part also.
Yeah, definitely don't send that to work.
Yeah.
What? You send the evidence again. The work situation has nothing to do with you. And it probably would look bad on you because a court would be like, so the mother of your children, you jeopardized her financial stability because
you wanted revenge.
Why
wanted
did you do that?
Yeah.
Because he didn't get punished.
I was mad.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not good.
Yeah.
So, but
punishments
again,
that fit the crime.
wife, tell the wife immediately.
Yes.
Shut up with the work stuff. Go tell their wife. Be okay. I caught my boyfriend paying other women he claimed to look down on.
Excuse me?
That's an interesting way to go about that. I met Alex on an online dating site sometime last fall. Normally, I have a strict 5-year age limit, but boredom and curiosity got the better of me, so I swiped right on him, expecting nothing more than a few entertaining exchanges. By the way, this comes from user Your Poison Tonic.
Oh,
I know
no
you're here
kidding.
today, and if you want to submit your own stories and have them read on the stream just like this, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. To my surprise, the conversation didn't fizzle out like most do. He was sharp, grounded, and despite the age difference, carried himself with a sense of maturity I found refreshing. He came off as a well put together, blue collar kind of guy, someone who actually wanted to build a future, not just chase fleeting fun. After a few weeks of talking and light flirting, we decided to meet up. Our first date wasn't exactly traditional. I invited him half-jokingly to a bar night I had planned with coworkers and their partners. I expected him to politely decline, but he surprised me again by agreeing to come. That night, I waited anxiously at the bar. At one point, someone vaguely familiar approached me, and I had a split-second panic, thinking I'd been catfished. Thankfully, it wasn't him, and when Alex finally walked in, he was even cuter than his pictures. Ooh. He got along effortlessly with my friends and even recognized a few from high school. Coming from a large city, it felt surreal how small the world could seem. We played bar games, danced and laughed, and it ended up being one of the best first dates I'd had in a long time. When he drove me home that night, we had a deeper conversation about our values, goals, and what we wanted from life. I had already told him I planned to move back to the city at the end of 2025 once my lease ended. Of course, he said the classic line, "Maybe I'll give you a reason to stay."
Oh, smooth. boy.
With a laugh, I rolled my eyes and told him we shall see. Over the next month, we kept seeing each other. Dates, gym workouts, and bedroom chemistry included. From the start, he was clear about wanting something monogamous. I, on the other hand, was hesitant. I hadn't been in a serious relationship in over 3 years, and only someone willing to put the work in with me would be worth changing that. My hesitation mostly stemmed from a couple of red flags I wish I hadn't ignored. Alex had a history of crazy exes. One left him for a client after starting an OF. Another one of his exes was apparently bipolar and ran back to her ex. I gave him the benefit of the doubt since the history sounded messy. Youth and poor choices happen to the best of us, and those relationships happened when he was heavily into the nose clams. About a month in, an old fling of his caught wind of our relationship after I tagged him in a post. She publicly called him a hypocrite for never allowing her to tag him in posts, and threw a few not-so-subtle jabs at my appearance. I brushed it off, chalking it up to another bitter ex, and oddly enough, that drama led us to having the "what are we" talk. When I brought up being official, suddenly he wasn't so sure anymore whether he was ready for a commitment. Another huge red flag that I once again ignored. But after a few intense conversations, he sent me a Facebook relationship request, a running joke between us. Despite the warning signs, I eventually accepted. Things progressed quickly from there. Within a month of being official, he was staying over almost every other night. We had fallen into a comfortable routine of gym nights and shared dinners, and staying over just made sense. Eventually, after a near accident where he almost ran into a cop car due to falling asleep at the wheel, I started making space for him to stay over more permanently. But cohabitation brought new problems. He hated when I listened to spicy audiobooks or talked about my favorite reads. I understood not everyone enjoys steamy audio, but I expected the same courtesy I gave him when he went on about cars and niche music. He also hated when I played OK Storytime. Throw him in the river!
Get him out.
With a life jacket, especially ones involving toxic relationships. He said some of the stories brought up traumatic experiences. In hindsight, maybe he saw too much of himself in them and didn't enjoy seeing people like him being ripped apart verbally by the community. Despite the differences in hobbies, we tried to make it work. With the gym getting busier around the holidays, we started going less and less, and I could see this was stressing him out. As a peace offering, I went in on half and bought us a $300 home gym setup. This included a bench with a bar, a multifunction weight machine, and an elliptical off of Marketplace, a total steal. It improved his mood until it didn't. He started making backhanded comments about my weight gain thanks to quitting vaping and starting birth control, both things I did for him, and lack of motivation in joining. He would say things like, "You'll be so hot once you get into a routine. I won't be able to keep my hands off of you." When confronted, he swore it was a compliment. I wasn't convinced, especially since he started making more and more excuses to skip the horizontal mambo unless it was geared towards his spicy hobbies or worded as a quick pump and done. Around that time, I noticed sketchy phone behavior. He would angle his screen away or turn off the phone abruptly. Occasionally switch apps. He claimed he didn't notice he was doing that and that it was just habit, putting the phone down to give me attention. At one point, he even said he was hiding gifts he was researching for me since this was around the holidays. I let it go, hoping I was being paranoid since the first few times I would catch a glimpse at his screen, he would be doing something innocent like talking to the boys or scrolling through funny reels. For a while, things seemed okay again. He even got more transparent with his phone use. Eventually, I brought up what would happen when my lease ended. I suggested we rent together, something practical since it was too soon for home ownership, plus impossible in this economy, considering he was already living with me, and he had expressed many times how he wanted a place with a garage for his cars. I figured this was a reasonable compromise rather than extending my lease. He acted surprised and made a snarky comment that I must be really sure he was what I wanted. He saw the look of disbelief on my face, and before I could fully ask if this wasn't what he wanted, he quickly amended his statement and agreed it made sense. Still, the hesitation lingered, and I tried to bring it up a couple more times after to make sure he was all right with it. I even reassured him that if things didn't work out, we could work it out civilly, and I could always resume my plan to move to the city. Things then started unraveling further. Intimacy continued to wane from spicy to lackluster. His motivational gym comments returned, and I told him how undesirable they made me feel. He blamed it on stress and financial anxiety, and always reassured me that I wasn't to blame. I always tried being understanding since since I was also burnt out and fed up with my current work situation and the long, cold winter. I was hoping once spring came, we could get out and things could return to how they were at the beginning of our relationship. In late January, he reconnected with an old female friend who had just left a harmful relationship. He said she'd cut off all male friends during that time, but now that she ended things, she was back trying to reconcile with her friends. I don't mind female friends, but I evaluate them based on behavior. Yes! He had other female friends he would talk to occasionally, but unlike them, something about this one rubbed me the wrong way. She would invite him over to smoke and even asked him for help moving. Yet I was never explicitly included. When I brought that up, he claimed it was an open invitation since she didn't know me and that we'd get along if we simply met. Still, it felt off since his other friends always made it clear they would love to meet me. I didn't prohibit him from helping her move, but instead reminded him he was already complaining about the list of things he needed to get done. He agreed, and instead we spent the weekend working on his cars and helping his mother on the farm. What?
Cool activities, at least.
Okay, he's like a car guy and he's a farmhand.
Yeah, I mean that's the only things I've liked so far.
More than once, I found him taking long phone calls with her from his car, saying she was venting. He insisted on keeping her confidence and that it was easier to just finish the phone call in the car. I knew better. He was fine talking to his other female friends around me, even when they were oversharing about their spicy sleep life. I should have ended things there, but he always knew just what to say to de-escalate things, and I didn't want to come off as controlling or pushy since everyone has different boundaries. Personally, my friends understand any tea shared with me will also be shared with any partner, and in turn, I gave them the same liberties. We had a conversation about it, and he promised to try to be more open about his conversations with this girl, but without going into details that would betray her trust. At one point, he shared with me a funny quote-unquote conversation they had, and I remember alarm bells going off in my head. I don't remember the details, but I remember pressing him for more and him shutting down. Next day, I asked again for more clarification, and all of a sudden, the details of the conversation changed to paint himself in a better light. I pointed out the inconsistencies in his story, but again, he had an answer for everything and even tried showing me the text exchange, but I politely refused. At this point, I think I knew things were over if they didn't change, but I was holding out hope that things would get better once it finally started getting warm out again. On top of that, I had made a commitment with his mom to help at an event about a month out that would also benefit me in the end. By February, his moods continued to fluctuate despite my attempts to try to ease his stress and work things out. Then, one day, the day of the event, I walked in on him pleasuring himself in the bathroom. I wasn't mad about that. It happens. But I tried to start a conversation about it, curious about what kind of spice he was into. He brushed it off, saying it was, I'm just on the hub, and that he already exited out of it and that it was, just the usual stuff. But he felt uncomfortable talking about it. We joked about it a bit, and I let it go, even though it hurt a bit that he was doing that behind my back. A small part of me wanted to go through his phone right then, but anxiety and better judgment got the better of me. Not to mention, we had to finish getting ready to work the event with his mom that day. But that night, the feeling wouldn't leave me. And 2 nights later, I did the thing I swore I wouldn't do. I went through his phone. I started with the conversation with his female friend. Most of it was normal yapping, but I came across a part about me. He'd been venting to her about our relationship, calling me crazy and paranoid, but that it was probably his fault since he was being distant and snappy with me. He told her he had second thoughts about renting together and didn't know how to bring it up to me. He also expressed how he would like to go and smoke with her, but that I wouldn't be up for it. I'm 31 and quit the devil's lettuce ages ago, and going to smoke with a young single mother of 2 didn't sound like a fun way to pass an evening. She joked she was the one in a controlling relationship now, and he didn't even try to defend me. Worse, he kept asking her to call him. So much for her being the one always reaching out and calling him. I almost woke him up right then and there. While I knew what I did was wrong, I figured if his mood came from a place of fear, there was still a chance we could talk things out. Stupid, I know. It was almost enough to make me forget about the bathroom incident, but before waking him, I got a nagging feeling to check further. In his opened apps, I saw he had Twitter. I don't use that app, so I was curious and I clicked it, and that's when everything unraveled further.
Here we go.
Oh my Lanta.
Let's see.
It opened up on OF. His DMs were filled with spicy creators, femboys, spicy workers, you name it. His Twitter was also filled with nothing but femboy spice workers. So he had been sending these individuals pictures, buying their content, flirting with them. All of this was a huge betrayal, especially since I stopped liking book talk thirst traps in the beginning of our relationship, since he mentioned they made him uncomfortable. Up until this moment, I'd tried to stay level-headed and compassionate in the relationship. Too compassionate. My Latina side finally won out, and that's when I lost it. I yelled, shoved him awake, and confronted him. He stammered. Thinking back, the look of shock and terror on his face was a thing of beauty. He tried putting off giving me answers, feigning confusion, but I gave him the ultimatum that he either leaves now for his dad's or he explains further, and I would allow him to crash on the couch until morning. He claimed that it was a compulsive issue, a problem he could not conquer, and said I'd give him the wake-up call he needed, quite literally, apparently. He admitted he was embarrassed about the role play he'd requested from the models and was ashamed to show me the messages. I didn't care about that. I just wanted the truth on how long it had been going on behind my back. According to him, it was only for a month or two, but I highly doubt it was only that recent. He said he didn't view it as cheating since he didn't respect spicy sleep workers, so it wasn't emotional.
Yeah, so you're really helping yourself out there.
Buddy needs therapy so bad.
Dude.
Buddy has so much deep-seated shame about what he actually is into that he can't even admit that that's just what he wants. He's like, actually, I'm doing this because I hate them, right? So isn't that okay? I don't respect them at all. They disgust me. Really, buddy?
Can I just say, if you want to pack your fart box, more power to you. In a healthy way. Come on.
John,
it's okay. It's okay. Why do we gotta be ashamed? Why do we have to be ashamed?
I agree, though.
It's okay.
I fully agree.
It's okay.
If you're trying to pack out your fart box, that's not my business.
Yeah, see, that guy gets it, right?
That was right.
That's it right there.
Except he's on the floor. He's been pushed out of the bed. He's
that's
like,
live POV footage. Yeah, so it's okay. Don't be insecure and then do all this BS and cheat and all this stuff.
It took him about another hour to work up the courage to open his phone and show me his profile. I saw how much money he had spent over the years, which made me laugh since he always complained about never having enough money. Now I could see why. He moved out the next day. I admit I was petty and went on a bit of a rampage. I chucked all his stuff in a pile for him to pack up and destroyed every sentimental item I had gifted him and the few he had given me and threw it on a pile of his things. I didn't destroy anything important, just small things that had meaning. He realized what I did and was upset. It made him realize just how many small things I did for him throughout our 6 months together. I also reached out to his female friend and told her about what I found out and how he manipulated and gaslit me for the past few months and essentially made me out to be the bad guy. She didn't even bother responding. Later, I found out she immediately messaged him and then proceeded to invite him over that very night.
Oh.
Of course he accepted. His excuse, I wanted to see if you were right about her hitting on me. She didn't even try anything. That's gotta be one of the dumbest things ever.
Dude.
Like, I'm trying to, my mind wants to come up with an example of that's like a geopolitical, like a World War II reference or something, but it's not
like
working.
A fireside
it's not
chat
working
kind
fast
of
enough.
thing, like.
Yeah, it's another FDR reference.
We got him. I made one before, but totally bombed.
Oh, it went
totally
over?
bombed.
I did not catch it. I did
good.
not
It's
catch
all
it.
good.
I don't know if he really is this daft or he thinks I am. She never replied to me, and when he asked her about it, she responded, I have enough of my own problems to deal with. I don't want to deal with someone else's.
Have fun having more problems for yourself then.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Despite my better judgment, we stayed in touch for a while after the breakup. He tried saying all the right things. He cut ties with his female friend after realizing she was just a user who didn't even care about what he was going through. He apologized and tried putting in the effort I wanted when we were together, but I was done. My heart was no longer in it. He moved into an apartment at his job, only to move back in with his dad weeks later when the rent turned out higher than expected. I started dreading his calls, especially since it would interrupt my new routine of watching my favorite live podcast.
Let's go. Yes. Yeah.
I became cold and snarky. I was giving him the same treatment he'd once given me. Eventually, mid-argument, I told him it wasn't going to work. He ignored the comment and kept talking, which is typical. After that, I started finding excuses to cut calls short, mentioned a couple more times that things weren't going to work, and started responding less and less to texts. Every time I brought it up, he found ways to avoid talking about it. So I did the petty thing. After going unread for a day, I sent him a final message thanking him for breadcrumbing the conversation into non-existence and then blocked him on everything, or so I thought. I forgot about Instagram.
Oh no.
He reached out there, said he was just giving me space since I had said things weren't working and that family drama had kept him distracted. I told him off one last time, said I was too grown to be avoiding difficult conversations, and if his family handles conflict like he does, they're all screwed. And then I blocked him again.
That's like savagely funny.
Yeah, that is a great final message.
Yeah, right.
But this right here never has to be your final message that you receive from us, because if you go to your podcast platform of choice, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. I'm talking Spotify. I'm talking iHeartRadio. I'm talking Apple Podcasts. Literally wherever you listen to podcasts, just search OK Storytime, and you can have every episode almost we've ever made. So, I mean, that sounds pretty good, right?
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool?
Pretty cool.
Go check that out. We do have a little bit more story left. Do we have any final thoughts here, fellas?
I mean, just sometimes people be sneaking in there, and then they suck. It just happens.
Sometimes it takes a little time for it to be revealed. But honestly, like the deceit and is all bad. I would not, don't definitely not get back with this guy.
Yeah.
That guy's the a-hole.
Yes.
But it like comes from like a very human place of I think this guy is clearly into something that he himself doesn't know how to reckon with.
Yeah.
Or he's kind of ashamed of.
Yes.
He's like, well, I don't respect, like he's got a lot going on psychologically about his own spicy proclivities.
Yeah.
That he's got to work through.
I think it's a great call out because like, hey, you don't deserve to feel like bad about it or feel bad about yourself.
Right.
And by feeling bad about yourself, well, look what you're doing to the people around you, the people that you supposedly love and care for. So it's like, hey, accept yourself. It's all good. And then good things will go back into it. It's a beautiful, virtuous system on the other side.
Yeah.
It's one big word for this guy. Shame.
Shame.
Yeah.
Ring-a-ding-ding-ding.
He was just shame.
Shame.
Yeah, he's ashamed. He's ashamed of himself, and it's causing all kinds of problems for everyone around him. Yeah, so, but good on you for getting out of there, Poison. 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
I mean, it was a giveaway when he wasn't into us.
That's automatic, like, just like, how do we get him in prison?
What are you doing?
Yeah, there's like another color that's even redder than red, and that's the color of that flag.
How can you hate that? Look at
It's
that.
ultra red.
How do you hate that?
You're making me think of my high school bully.
Bully? I'm gonna bully you if you bully my boy.
I didn't even really get bullied that hard. He just had one nickname for me that was brutal.
What was it?
I can't say it. I would never give that ammo out for free. I have to be paid a lot of money to put that out there like that. Let's finish this story. And that, finally, was that. I know it was wrong solely putting the distance on him since I was the one detaching myself, but at that point, I honestly didn't care. Whenever I think back on it, I get upset for being so forgiving for so long. I gave him repeated chances and let him disrupt the peace I worked on for years to achieve. In the end, it wasn't even about the emotional cheating, but the emotional manipulation constantly denied. And that is the end of that story. Yeah, dude. That guy's a manipulator.
Yup.
Because he's manipulating his own stuff, too.
He's a manipulator and a manipulabager.
My husband is infuriated by my schedule because I can't cook him dinner.
Well, that doesn't seem fair to me.
Trigger warning, verbal abuse. I feel too old for this sub, but it's cheaper than a therapist. So here it goes. I'm also incredibly upset and frustrated right now, and I'd like some feedback about what has been a going on issue with my marriage with an otherwise very reasonable man. We've been married for 9, together for 14. By the way, this comes from Fed Up Won't Feed Us, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm a high school teacher, as well as a professor in the same subject at a local community college. This means 2 days a week after school ends at 1 p.m., I drive an hour to the community college and have classes and office hours. My husband works a government job that allows him to work midnight shifts. While it's hard on him, this always allows him to pick up our daughter at school and look after our toddler. Combined with the commute, as I hit traffic, I get home from my second job around 7 p.m. I'm exhausted from the day and still have lots of grading to do from all the classes I teach. I'd also like to turn in at a reasonable hour, as I'm usually up at 4:45 getting ready for school that starts at 7 a.m. am. When I'm busy and tired like this, I ask my husband to make dinner that night, usually the night before, though I don't ask as much anymore. He always refuses because he says he hates cooking and that if I manage my time better, I could cook for us and grade. I get upset because I feel he's being selfish and not respecting the hard work I do. And he gets upset because I'm not doing what he wants. He's bred a lot of resentment ever since I got the job at the college last year. The thing is, I don't expect him to be Julia Child. He can cook something quick and easy if he doesn't like it. I mean, come on. It's a necessary life skill. I also don't mean to devalue his working midnight shifts, as it's a sacrifice I appreciate very much from him, but he's around the house all day. Why can't he cook? If I do cook, I end up very behind on work, as well as agitated, when I absolutely can't be behind. We end up ordering takeout, as usual, on these nights, which I dislike because I want our kids eating as healthy as possible. I also don't like them eating so late, especially as our toddler's normal bedtime is 7. He should be going to bed, not eating dinner. Aside from my son's sleep schedule, which has begun impacting the speed at which I'm able to return assignments to students, it's also a big deal. I'm totally willing to cook when I don't have to teach at the community college, so it's not as if I never cook or if I'm not pulling my weight. I also bring home food fast from work, I suppose, but I really want McDonald's and junk like that just to be a treat for my kids, not a staple of their diets. The straw that broke the camel's back, though, was tonight. Today is the day I teach, and traffic was bad tonight due to the accidents. I got home at around 7:45 instead of 7. Dinner still hasn't been made, and the kids were starving. He's always said when we fought about this that he wouldn't let them not eat past 7:30 if I was late, which was why I didn't think to stop on the way home, but I guess I was wrong. I even texted him, traffic was out of stop. Please feed the kids. I won't be home for a while. This was the whole reason we kept boxed mac and cheese in the house for emergencies. I was furious he hadn't fed him. He got angry at me and told me that since he's the breadwinner, he gets to dictate who cooks and when. I'm so angry that he'd use his earning status against me. And it's not like my salaries are just pennies, by the way. He makes a lot more than me. The children did get fed, but I am so frustrated and don't want to speak to him right now. I feel like he's being incredibly selfish and unreasonable. We got an edit. While I really I do appreciate your solutions to the cooking part of this problem, my problem does go deeper than that. I feel disrespected and I have a problem with this attitude. Advice on how to communicate with him better would be appreciated, as well as advice regarding the actual cooking issue. Update. First of all, I guess I should probably go more into detail about some common misconceptions from my last post. I would really rather not quit my second job because once I complete this semester, it's extremely likely I'll be offered a full-time position at the community college for more money and less hours than my job at the high school. Okay, so we have a game plan here.
Okay.
Because I'm saying, I don't know, this is on the husband. If he's there during the day, all he needs to do is like make sure the kids get fed and just stick it up. Like if you hate cooking and it's that big of a problem, just like get a game plan here. So then you know how to communicate. Oh my God, communicate. My husband will also be able to work from the day shift most days as we'd be home with our son. This is a temporary but very difficult situation that will, I think, end up being for the best. Second of all, in order to accommodate my husband as much as possible in the sacrifice he's making working midnight shifts, I do all of the chores. On his days off, I do 99.9% of the childcare. The 0.1% is picking up our daughter school on Fridays, as our son sees his OT/speech therapist that day, and 100% of the housework. He has openly said, and when he is home with our son, he usually keeps him in his playpen most of the time so we can sleep or play Xbox and that stupid online capture the flag game. So I really don't appreciate people making up complete bogus schedules and posting them to be like, gotcha, you're a witch. Things took a terrible turn yesterday. I decided that using a lot of the advice I got here, I'd make extra for dinner the night before, easily prepared meals like sandwiches Tuesdays and Thursdays. It'd still require him microwaving or assembling together some bread and sandwich material, since I was going to insist on our son going to bed at his normal time before 7. But no reasonable person would object to that, right? Wrong. I had the conversation with him. At first he seemed receptive as I stayed calm and told him how much I appreciate the fact that he works nights, but that I don't want the kids eating so late and I really need him to help me out here. He said okay and asked what I had in mind. As soon as I told him that he was going to have to microwave food or throw together sandwiches or a salad, he totally changed. He began throwing a tantrum to rival our 2-year-old, yelling and stomping and beating the countertops. I've never ever seen him like this. I could barely even tell what he was saying. I did hear things like, "That should be your job," and "lazy witch," and then "I never wanted kids. You forced me into this."
Whoa.
That was certainly news to me. Whenever we first got engaged, I talked him down from his original desire for kids to 2. And just 6 months ago, we fought again because he wanted the 3rd kid and I don't. When I asked him to please calm down so we could have an actual productive conversation, he threw his adult soda bottle and stormed out of the house. This was even before I got to the part about us needing to go to counseling or the issues surrounding his respect for me. He still hasn't come home and I have no idea where he is. He won't answer his phone. Even though I'm absolutely furious with him, I'm also very worried. So I guess my main question is, how do I deal with possibly being left by my husband because he didn't want to microwave some leftovers for 90 seconds? I'm way too embarrassed to tell my friends or family this yet. We got an update. Hi to all of you, and thanks for shaking some sense into me. Someone said this was a police matter, and I decided to make it one. I just got back from filing a report with the police, telling them that my husband had thrown a bottle and abandoned the family, leaving me unable to reach him. They are very nice and good about everything, to my own surprise. I'm going to see a lawyer first thing tomorrow morning when it opens, and we'll talk to the legality of changing my locks, divorce, and primary custody. I also left a final voicemail on my husband's phone telling him all of this. And we can tell you more stories on your favorite freaking podcast platform. Just search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and you can hear all the amazing things this world of Reddit has to offer. Woohoo! On a less important note, I also acquired a sitter. One of the secretaries at the high school I'm acquaintances with had her daughter come in to take a break from college this semester after doing badly last fall. And I arranged it within the past hour, and now she'll babysit for me, though I do intend on taking tomorrow off, at least from work. Thanks for everyone for your help and concern. Edit, in light of some new legal information I've Googled and found out from here, we are going to a hotel around 40 minutes away for now instead of staying at the house. If I'm unable to change the locks, I will probably end up renting a place via Craigslist or somewhere in order to give the kids a more stable home.
Wow.
Dang. There we go.
Yeah, because at first I was like, okay, maybe this is the kind of thing where it's like she like wants to stay. She just like doesn't understand why he's being like this and like not doing his part. How can we do this without just going straight to divorce? And then I started thinking of like petty things she could do, like only making food for the kids and like really not making any food for him at all.
I saw earlier that he needs to take an MRI because sometimes brain tumors happen and people will just go off the rocker.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but then he like started throwing things and hitting things. And then I was like, okay, well, if he's doing that from just this, you can't really mess with him more because it could be dangerous.
Dude, that is so
good.
crazy.
She did the right thing. But
she did.
I wonder if it's some sort of like genuine mental thing that obviously, you know, still doesn't have to put up with, but it could explain things.
Yeah.
But I also wonder if it was like really some things she did say was out of nowhere, but a lot of the stuff of like taking care of the kids seemed like that's kind of how it has been.
Yeah.
Their whole lives, which isn't very many years, but still enough.
I told my husband that I don't want to work anymore.
You gotta work.
I am a 22-year-old woman and my husband a 23-year-old man. We met young, 17, started dating young, 20 to 21, and got married young, 22. I was aware that as a young couple, we would experience some financial struggle, especially in this economy. I was more than willing to go through that because I love my husband with all my heart and we make an awesome team. We've been married for about 2 months. And I'll be honest, it's been a little difficult, but not for the reasons that everyone told me it would be. By the way, this comes from Bandicoot20, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. A little backstory on my husband. He came from a happy home where everyone super close. His parents make a lot of money, enough that my mother-in-law doesn't have to work and hasn't worked in 20 years. She spends her days keeping the house tidy, cooking, running errands, and being a homemaker, which meant my husband and his siblings didn't do much around the house. They had chores, but never too many since mother-in-law liked things done a certain way. Mother-in-law also has mental health issues that translate into physical health issues, which is why she doesn't work. Side note, mother-in-law is an angel, and unlike some of the Reddit stories I've seen, I love her so much. My husband's goal is to someday make it so I don't have to work either, though I have no idea when or if that'll actually happen. I think he just got used to always having household things done for him, so he doesn't have certain habits he might have otherwise developed. So my husband also has ADHD, which makes it even harder for him to remember things like cleaning, taking or picking up his meds, and remembering things I tell him. I don't have ADHD, I don't think, but from what he's shared, he struggled with it for over 10 years, and I really do feel for him. I understand that a lot of this is out of his control, though I'll admit it's hard to fully put myself in his shoes. A little backstory is on me. Growing up, our family always struggled with money, and we all had complicated relationships with each other. That's another story. My parents probably tried to hide their struggles from me and my two siblings, but we could always tell. We weren't below the poverty line, but there wasn't much we could do. My parents were strict about chores, with designated dish days, laundry days, cook nights, trash days, etc. And missing a day meant yelling, passive-aggressive messages, and finger pointing. It was chaotic. But now that I'm older and living on my own, I'm grateful they taught me to always clean up after myself, and that sometimes it's more important to keep peace than to be right. I moved into our apartment first, before we got married, because of my less than favorable home situation. I've also been dealing with some serious mental and physical health issues, severe depression, anxiety disorder, and possibly other things that aren't officially diagnosed yet due to financial and insurance limits. I'm on medication, and it's not the right one, and it seems to make things worse. On top of that, about a year ago, I was in a car accident that left me with a neck sprain, back sprain, and moderate concussion. I can't work out long or lift heavy things. Any migraines have gotten worse. I get dizzy spells multiple times a week. All of this plus working full time and keeping up the home has unbelievably been hard. So here's where the main problem comes into play. My husband helps out sometimes, but only when I ask him to. Like, I still have to remind him to take out the trash, load the dishwasher, fold his clothes, or clean up after himself. It's like I still have to carry the mental load of everything on my own, while he only helps out a little bit. I brought this up to him several times, but he just says he understands my frustrations, but sometimes his brain just won't let him do a lot of things, even if he really wants to, and that he just needs help remembering, so I need to remind him and ask for help, and he'll do it. But that's the thing. I feel like I shouldn't have to ask him all the time to do these things.
You shouldn't. He needs to figure out a way for him to remember to do these things. If that means like setting timers, making task lists. Like I think for me, I find a lot of times like checkbox lists
Oh,
are
dude,
really
I get
helpful for me.
addicted to those checkbox
I'm
lists.
like, check, yay! And I'm like, I completed so much today. And those are really helpful. I don't usually find trouble like with motivating myself to clean just because the motivation for me is like, it's clean.
Yeah.
But, other people I know with ADHD have that, motivation issue. So it's finding ways to self-motivate rather than relying on someone else.
I suggested setting reminders on his phone or writing it on the fridge, but he said that he's tired of all of that before and it doesn't work for him. I told him insanely hard for me to keep up with every single thing in my crazy life, but his life too. He just keeps saying that it seems like I had no idea what I was getting myself into when I married him, even though he's shown me the signs. And
he said that?
And honestly, you might be right. You don't know everything there is to know about a person, even when you're married to them. It's only when you move in together and fully merge your lifestyles together that these things really come up. Oh, and I forgot to mention earlier, our intimate life has not been that great lately. We both saved ourselves for the first time for each other after we got married. Something we both wanted even before we met. But we've definitely not had a ton of makeout sessions in the backseat of my SUV. And it was really fun just getting to mess around and explore each other's bodies and interest in sweet spots. I knew our first times would be awkward. But honestly, it feels like we haven't even gotten there yet. Things usually start off fine. But once it's time to actually be intimate, his excitement fades, especially after putting on a wiener wrapper. We've tried different kinds along with other ideas, but nothing seems to work. I'm not on birth control right now. I've heard stories about it affecting hormones with my mental health issues and medications. I'm just not sure what to do next. I've just started seeing a new doctor, so hopefully we can talk about options soon. We both don't want kids, so going without protection isn't something he feels comfortable with, which I completely agree. Another part that's been hard is how his once confident take the lead side seems to have faded. I'm the type who wants to feel in the moment without overthinking, but now he often asks, so what did you want to do now? Or what are you thinking? Questions that instantly take me out of it and make it hard to feel relaxed. I end up stuck in my own head. I feel like I'm always the one having to make decisions in our life, our schedule, our routine, what gets cleaned when and by who, what's for dinner, keeping track of how much electricity and water we use, groceries, contacting the leasing office when something needs to be fixed, and even being point of contact between him and his family and friends. To say the least, I'm exhausted would be a huge understatement. I'm just trying my hardest to be empathetic of a situation, and it just feels like I have empathy and understanding for someone else in my life and don't feel the same in return. I am taking care of 80% of things while almost none of my needs are being met. Sometimes I wonder how much longer I can keep this up. I can't work full time and deal with everything else, but with the way the economy is set up right now, it'll take so long to get to a point where I don't have to work. And with the job market right now, I'm grateful I have a job. And with all of the other random expenses coming up, my anxiety about our future also hard to deal with. It's so unbelievably hard to keep up with two people's lives. I've also been the main one thinking of ways to make/save more money, including selling my car. We live 5 minutes from where I work, so I could walk or bike there if I need to. I love my husband so freaking much. He's so kind, funny, loving, helpful, and has been my best friend since we were 17. He's my everything. I just don't know what else to do or how to feel right now. Hopefully, I'll get some different options about my situation. Would I be the a-hole for what, OP?
I mean, like, would you be the a-hole for, like, talking to him about this? Because you need to. And he needs to listen to you. It's not just, oh, well, you married me. You should have known.
Yeah.
He married you. He should have known you would have been upset by this behavior.
Yeah. Update. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for the input, the advice you have all given me. It really does put things into perspective. I have a very small update. I say small because it doesn't change the situation very much in the grand scheme of things, but it does change the situation for me. I've talked to my husband, let's just call him David, and he says that he's going to do better with helping me around our apartment. While he has said this time and time again, I decided to trust that he would, since he kind of knows my circumstances. I've asked him to fold the laundry that I washed, and he did, but only about 1/4 of it. The remainder of the clothes are still on the floor in bed. So I asked him to take the cardboard boxes that have been in our apartment for almost a week to the recycling, but they're still there. In my closet, he said he only put them there temporarily because my sister came over and he wanted to get them out of the way, but they're still there almost a week later. I asked him to load the dishwasher last night, and he did, but he left several dishes in the sink and on the counter. I asked him to clean the bathroom, but after he was done, sink was still dirty and there were still products all over the counter. I didn't want to get to the point of thinking he would do this, but I'm worried that this has come to the point of weaponized incompetence. How is it possible that all of these things that I ask you to help me with are half done or done poorly? I decided to call his dad about a week and a half ago and see if this has always been a problem. Big mistake, but I was frustrated and his mom was asleep, so he was the only option at the time. I told him what I have been going through and how David hasn't been making it easier for me. Quite the opposite, actually. He said, if these are the issues that you're having 2 months into marriage, honey, you've got it easy. Things could be way worse for y'all. But guess what? People always are going to have problems.
It's not the problem Olympics. She's saying, hey, I got this problem right now.
I've responded. I understand that things could be worse, but that doesn't mean this isn't incredibly hard for me. I feel like I'm doing this all to myself. He began to tell me that since his wife/David's mom was able to stop working, they haven't cleaned a bathroom or made a meal in almost 25 years. I can't blame David for not doing or knowing how to do stuff around the house because he's never really had to do it.
That's so embarrassing.
Without thinking, I said, so I'm supposed to be the one holding up our entire lives just because his parents could afford to do it? After I said that, he snapped at me. This is not about money. Don't you ever throw my financial situation at me like that ever again. Do you understand me? I know that I shouldn't have said that or said anything without thinking about it first, but I have no idea why he would react this way. I immediately felt awful afterwards. He has used his insane amount of money to help us out of a hole once or twice, but only because David asked him. Not me. I'm extremely appreciative of the help we've received from them, but because of how I grew up, I've always been reluctant to ask for help, especially with money. I need help knowing where to go after the story when it's done.
Well, you just go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or iHeartRadio.
And what do I search up?
Okay, story time.
And what's going to be there for me?
So many episodes.
Just like this?
Just like this.
After he snapped at me, I tried to apologize several times, but he didn't want to hear it. He then kept on about how David's ADHD makes it incredibly hard for him to make and keep up with new routines and actually see things that need to be done and actually do them. So not only has David done this, his parents has embedded this into his mind.
Yeah, they're like, you have ADHD. You can't do anything.
Oh my God.
He's
this
just
is
my
the
poor
worst.
ADHD son. He can't do anything.
That coupled with the fact that his mom did almost everything for him means it's going to be and harder. He said that there have been times where it has taken 2 to 3 years for new habits or routines to stick. He said, I love you, kiddo. And I just gave a half-hearted I love you too
Sounds like
back.
he just screamed at you and then went, I love you, kiddo. No.
And that was the end of the phone call. I genuinely cannot describe how alone I felt and still feel, knowing that any and everything I say either goes into one ear and out the other, or gets flipped around into something much worse. Makes me feel awful. It feels like I have no one to talk to about this, and I have no choice but to go through this alone. I have no idea what to do now. We can't afford couples counseling. I can't talk to his or my family in fear that they'll get the same reaction that I got from his dad. Oh, man. I think the cheapest option is to get a mediator friend that understands your side and his side and that could talk to you guys.
My friend expected a free wedding service despite my own struggles.
Pay your friend.
So a few years back, I had a couple of businesses. One where I was a virtual assistant doing graphic design, websites, marketing, admin, bookkeeping, photo and video editing, social media, resume writing, recruitment, HR, and ops. The list went on. I also had a weddings and event business where I had a photo booth, event hire, and a team of photographers, videographers, and event planners. By the way, this comes from Ecstatic Chair 8691 on the r/Charlotte Dobrave YouTube subreddit. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I'll start with the wedding and events business. I had so many family and friends reach out to me wanting my photo booth for free for birthdays, engagements, weddings, housewarmings, a fun Saturday night. Originally, I only offered to do digital only, so there wouldn't be any cost for me having the photos to be printed out, just pics posted with my watermark on social media pages. These were the conditions of using it for free. I would use these freebies to trial props, signs, different backdrops, etc. Take photos for social media as well as videos and see what worked and what didn't. Soon after, though, it got a bit too popular with friends and family, even getting to the point I had more free bookings than paid, and they all thought that digital only just wasn't the same as regular photo booth, and people really needed the prints to be included. I said sure, if they pay for the paper, which was not cheap at all, and they would scoff and say that I should include it at my own cost. I'm a business, so you can claim it on tax or small tax business hack gibberish tip here, and if I really want a good review or for them to promote my business, I'd provide it. I did end up caving, and they never did end up posting a review or promoted it.
Which is why we don't cave.
Then people wanted me to remove my watermarks on the photos, and if I didn't, they would just crop them out themselves. To which I would happily comment on their posts, reminding them that this photo was taken by at the business name here. Then DM them saying, as per the terms you agreed and signed, please be sure to tag us if it just so happens you can't keep the OG size of the photo and you had to crop it. If it was the person who booked it, they would have to fill out paperwork for it, and if it was a guest of theirs, I would have a big sign saying, if you take a photo in the booth, you agree for it to be shared on my business social media and website. No cropping photos or removing my watermark. When some friends of friends got married, they would reach out and invite me out for brunch, wanting to catch up, only to tell me they are engaged and planning their engagement and wedding and need advice and the lowdown on all the vendors who I recommend, who's the cheapest, etc. Now, originally, I'd give a little bit of my resources away, refer a few people I enjoyed working with before, venues that I thought they'd enjoy. Then, when it came to talk to them about their budgets or what I could offer and provide, only for them to tell me that they've already booked photo, video, and event hire elsewhere, just feel free to bring along the photo booth as part of your wedding gift to us. They still wanted us to pay $300 to $500 cash as well, and the venue is going to set it all up while their sister, who usually was a bridesmaid or maid of honor, would be their day of coordinator, because why pay me to do something they've already organized? But I'd usually end up having the bride's appointed planner find out that I'm a planner/stylist day of, or at the hen's party or engagement, and would wind up handballing it to me, then claiming the credit. Then there are those that wanted me for my services. Told me because they have family overseas or their budget on XYZ has blown out that they really can't afford to spend any money on someone to help plan for now. But they saw my work and would love it if I could help them because they have no idea and they would just be so grateful. Some did barter services. Not all, but some did. And of effing course, I couldn't say no on being a part of their big day. One wedding, I did the styling, planning, and coordination. Her hen's party organized a surprise video from her family in Europe who couldn't come, and edited it and played it at the wedding dinner. I was up nearly 24 hours that day. Another bride and friend of mine, I did her wedding and her hen's do, and on the lead up to both, she would always have meetings, planning stationery, seating plans, food. She was vegan. We'd go to IKEA heaps just to get ideas. I'd show her my suppliers' products to give her ideas on things to buy. I bought arbors, fabric specifically for her day, which I could use again, and so much more. Her days were beautiful. This was another very long day as well, and all I got were a set of cheese knives for my efforts. My business cards always disappeared when I tried to leave them out for promo because they're being picked up.
I guess that's probably good, or they're all being thrown away, but at least you got the cheese knife set, Gromit.
At least you have your cheese knives, Gromit.
Oh, I'll have my cheese knives. This is why contracts for business are important. You just, if someone wants your stuff, you go, okay, here you go. Here's the contract.
Yeah.
You can sign it. Oh, I thought when you do it for free. Oh, not going to happen.
You can just be like, I just don't do this for free anymore. The absolute worst, though, was a mutual friend of a friend. She was my very first photo booth booking for pre-drinks before a festival when I first started out, and the photos from that day were so great, I still use them on my socials and websites years later. She had her engagement party not after I left my DV marriage because I caught him cheating on me, going to spicy sleep clubs, and being obsessed with one of them. She originally messaged me about 6 to 8 months before her big day and asked me for another freebie. She wanted to do digital only again and whatever I could do to make it free because she just opened her own small business and didn't have much money to spend, which I had helped her set up also. I created the websites, forms, booking, and appointment stuff, which she paid me for, and gave me free sessions on top of. I agreed since she paid for her other business, which was worth way more, and gave me some free beauty treatments in return on top. Now, when I got punted out of my marital home by my harmful ex-husband about 4 to 5 months later, I was scrambling to find a place to live, find a lawyer, a full-time job to pay for said divorce lawyer, all while dealing with my POS ex haunting me and bad-mouthing me all over social media and spreading lies and causing me to be sent to the hospital multiple times, not a grippy sock vacation. My body shut down due to stress, and I stopped eating. She added LOL, but
in all caps, she added LOL, which you gotta have humor about stuff.
for sure.
Good.
Just wanted to clarify that was her saying LOL. Due to my very public humiliation, homelessness, my ex trying to make me pass away of embarrassment from his posts, stress, and the fact I had bigger things to deal with than a free photo booth booking that I never received any signed forms for, nor even an invitation, I had forgotten about it completely. She knew exactly what was going on, saw all the posts my ex made, even commented on a few, shocked that I was putting him through heck and siding with him, I later found out. She knew I had been in hospital, knew I wasn't doing too well, but didn't even reach out once to see if I was okay or to touch base on her day. Just assumed I'd show up. Instead, she just messaged me on the day 2 hours before, asking where the F I was to set up. By the way, you never have to wonder where we are. To listen to full episodes with stories just like this, go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. But we have more. But how
Baby.
you feeling?
Yeah, more story. Yeah, this is just a case of like, OP, you need to create a dirty framework for your business, invoices, etc., whatever. It's just, you just say, I'm not doing that. And then if your friends are like, wow, well, we're done with you, you'd be like, okay, so you're not you've never been my friend then. So it's okay, because you'd rather lose these people.
These are also friends of friends at this point. Like, you are so far removed from anyone that should get a freebie.
Direct relatives, best friend of your life, maybe the only people who should get freebies. And
or
even
someone
then,
that you know is like really struggling and you want to help.
Yeah.
But, like, also, like, the one that you helped set up the website, she was really nice. She paid you and gave you freebies. So,
if it's,
like,
you know,
if it's that, then for sure. Like, but she was still getting paid in some way.
But
Yes.
that's why we also have the friends and family discount.
Just a discount, not for free.
not for
free.
free, it's a discount. I tried to give my family free like work when I was doing drone photography, and it was like, no, I'm gonna pay you. I was like, okay, that's that.
Time is money.
Biggest thing film school taught us was, like, after a couple months, nothing free.
Absolutely.
Get paid. Now, admittedly, I feel a little bit bad about missing this. However, after the vid, I wasn't trying to get a lot of bookings and didn't have any but hers on the books anyways. She never sent back the forms, despite following up twice and getting empty promises. And after being punted out and left on the street, I was dealing with a lot and just wasn't coping, and paperwork for a free gig wasn't top of my list of things. Our mutual friend, who was very supportive, had told her what was going on and told her not to expect me to come, let alone bring the photo booth, because I wasn't doing well in between working 3 different jobs, running the businesses, being in and out of hospital because I wasn't able to eat without vomiting or pain, and my body was shutting down. Fighting my demons while being publicly humiliated on social media by my ex was feeding everyone lies and trying to ruin what little life I had left. What do you think? Entitled, or did she have grounds?
She has ground that she should.
Walk away on.
Yeah, exactly. You have grounds to leave me alone. Get out of here.
That was a lot of information about the businesses just for her to be like, should I do this for free? No.
No.
I told you that at the
Would you
beginning.
go to work for someone else for free?
You didn't have a
If you-
contract. She didn't
Yeah.
follow up. Like, how?
If you worked at McDonald's, would you go to work for McDonald's for free? Then why would you work for yourself for free? That's crazy.
Don't work anywhere for free.
There, we said it. We did it. The hottest take, don't work for free for no reason. Texas tart.
I stranded my coworkers at the airport because they were irresponsible.
Which airport? That's the most important question.
This past week, I was presented with an industry award in Nashville that an agency partner nominated me for. I am a director at my company. My company decided to send 2 junior-level employees to the event as well because they thought it would be a good experience for them. A specialist who has been with us for a little over a year, 25 female, first job out of college, and a summer intern, 21 female, and a rising senior. They are not on my team. They report up through a separate VP, and I have very limited or no interaction with them in daily work life. By the way, this comes from Diligent Pineapple 35. And if you want to submit your own stories just like this one, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So they were very excited to be going. This was going to be the specialist's first time on a plane. Lots of team chats asking what to wear, etc. We were flying in on Thursday morning and leaving Friday evening, so it was a very short trip, but I tried to help share info about the event, like types of attendees, awards, reception, presentation, Thursday night with a country western theme when I was speaking on the panel on Friday morning. There's so much I could say, but I'll try to highlight key points. The specialist barely made the Thursday AM flight because she doesn't have a real ID and had to do extra screening. She had no idea what a real ID was or the basic rules of flying, liquid restrictions, etc., and she was very upset that they made her throw away some of her skincare that was over 3 ounces. Thursday night's event was country western theme, and while a majority of people were there in business casual, the intern showed up in a bandana tube top, micro skirt, cowboy boots, and a cowboy hat. That's a little much for country western
A
night.
little bit for the work party.
This is still a work event.
Yeah.
I pulled her aside and asked if she wanted to run upstairs and change since it was still a business event, but she said she was fine and she thought she looked cute and on theme. After the ceremony, I invite them to join me with some colleagues I knew from other companies in the hotel bar, but they tell me they wanted to check out Broadway. I make a face and say this would be a good networking opportunity. They make "come on, mom" jokes, and so I tell them to be safe and remind them the time and location of the first session the next day. I text them around 11 p.m. that I hope they got back safe. No response. Went to bed. Text them the next morning offering to meet them for coffee before morning sessions. No response. No idea if they actually attend any sessions or saw my panel, but I did find them in the hotel lobby afterward looking incredibly hungover. Have about 2 hours after the event is over and before we needed to go to the airport, I invite them to late lunch with our agency partners. They decline because they want to go to the Country Music Hall of Fame. Again, make a face and say I don't know if they will have time, and I think it would be a good opportunity for them to spend time with our agency. They act like I'm a wet blanket, so I tell them I'm leaving for the airport from the hotel at 4 p.m. sharp, and meet me in the main lobby so we can share a lift. Text them at 3:45 p.m. that the lift is arriving in 15 minutes. No response. Text them that the lift has arrived and I'm leaving for the airport. No response. Text them when I get to the airport and tell them security line is long. Neither had pre-check. No response.
Dude, this is so clear. Like, these girls think they're on vacation.
Yeah, this is a work trip. It's a trip. Yes, you're somewhere exciting. Yes, but the company is paying you for work there.
Yeah, you're there for work.
Especially like
first.
one of them's an intern.
Yeah.
One of them is an intern and one of them has only been there for a year. Let's not forget that You don't have the job. You're there for a specific period of time. And if you want the job, you have to impress the people.
Exactly.
You've clearly not impressed this person who's clearly going to tell your higher ups, and they will not be impressed either.
Yeah. Bad moves all around from the junior employees here.
Text them when I get to the gate to please give me some sign of life. The intern sends a very short response about 10 minutes later. In lift, there's traffic. Nothing else. Text them the flight is starting to board, and no response. Text them when I'm in my seat that boarding is about to end. No response. The doors close. They don't make it. Put my phone in airplane mode. Land a couple hours later to a barrage of texts from them. They're stranded in Nashville. Don't know what to do, how to rebook, who to call for help, etc. I also have an angry voicemail from the specialist's mom that I abandoned her daughter in Nashville. She has never flown and has anxiety. She's having a panic attack at the airport. She needs medical attention, and she could be... Wait. Why is your mom part of this situation?
Oh, no.
Yeah, this specialist, again, is 25 years old.
Yeah.
She's been working at the company. Like, she's ostensibly, like, independent somehow if she's going on this trip by herself.
I would assume at 25, you should know how to at least, I missed my flight, but heck, this person's never flown before. But it's like, dude, you can't have your mom calling your superior to yell at them. That's crazy. Like, I will be astounded if both of these people are still working for this company.
That's
There's no
how
way.
you get a trip to HR. And also, like, a basic instinct for me is, oh no, I missed my flight. Let me talk to the front desk. Let me talk to the attendants here. Let me talk to the information person.
Yeah. Oh, I missed my flight. What do I do? Person standing directly in front of me who can help me. Like, instead it's, no, I'm going to call my mom, tell her I'm having a panic attack, and she's going to call my superior and be mad at them.
Also, I love the mom jumping straight to, my daughter can be...
That's
my daughter...
just crazy. Implying that she's just going to get kidnapped at the airport is wild.
She could be taken by people who should not be taking her.
Just trafficked. Trafficked at the airport.
I called the specialist and intern back. Both phones ring, but neither pick up. We're seeing a pattern here.
Yeah.
Text to see if they were able to rebook. No response. Forward them email with our business travel info and after hours contact and text them that I sent the email. No response. Texted an hour or so later to see if they were okay. No response. Did not call the mom back. I also have a text from their director. I don't know her well, and she just started with the company a couple weeks ago, asking what's going on. I send her a brief overview and screenshots of all my unanswered texts to them from earlier in the day, along with the transcript of the voice message I got from the mom. She acknowledges my response, but no further dialogue. Now I get an invite for a Monday morning meeting from that director with their VP and our C-suite leader. My VP is on PTO.
For those who don't know corporate lingo, that's
paid time off, and C-suite is the corporate head.
And you don't want to be having any meetings when you're on paid time off.
A talk with the C-suite is never going to be very sweet unless you're up for like a promotion or something.
Yeah.
There's no
not
promotions
great.
here. There's no promotions happening.
Yeah.
Quite possibly the opposite. I feel like these are adults. I was communicative, and I'm ultimately not responsible for their decisions. But you tell me, am I the a-hole here? We do have some comments, so let's get to them. Some from Miss Hibernia. I think OP went incredibly above and beyond here, considering that this was a work event she was receiving an award at, in all caps.
Yeah, literally being awarded for your work. Like,
obviously OP's doing something right at work. So to have these junior idiots causing any type of fuss was really an unnecessary hassle for her when it should have been a personal celebration. And OP responds, okay, thank you so much for saying this because I took it out of my main post since it was long already, but I made a short acceptance speech after getting the award. I worked really hard on it and practiced a lot. It was only like 90 seconds, but I asked for specialist and intern to film it for me because I wanted to share it with my team members who helped me with it. Left my phone with them and everything, but they forgot, and that kind of upset me. It's obviously not the end of the world, but like, come on. Also, OP, I know you didn't really know these people very well, but these are not the people you want to leave your phone with or
absolutely
anything with.
Not.
Like, you leave a plant with them, you're not getting that plant back alive.
No, definitely
That
not.
plant
Not
is
even
not
a
watered.
succulent.
Nope. you'll get an entirely different plan.
Yeah.
Harry Ohm Tatsat said, so they even failed at the only job you gave them with explicit instructions. Film my speech, an official speech at an official event. Definitely worth including in your bullet points. Lichigo commented, you were there as their coworker, not as their mother. Firstly, no one should be expecting you to take care of them in that way. They're adults, and even when you did offer them direction and support, they didn't even have the decency to get back to you. And a call from her mom. Good Christ, your lord. I would come prepared with documentation and also let your supervisor know, even if they're on PTO, that this is what was happening. Max1721 commented, the call from her mom is what really gets me. As an adult, I fully understand calling your mom for help when you're panicked. Like this girl stuck at an airport with no flying experience. I would 100% call my mom if I were panicking in that situation. My mom, however, would help me get my crap together and calm down and solve the problem myself. Not call another person on the business trip and yell at them for leaving me stranded. That far crosses the line. Apprehensive Mark 20 said, they seem to have mistaken the business trip for a vacation. Also, they acted irresponsibly around time, dressing, and networking possibilities. None of this is your fault. You are not their mother. You treated them like the adults they are. The fact that they didn't act like adults is not on you, not the a-hole. Rebecca McCullen said, after their behavior on this trip, I'll be surprised if they ever get a chance to go on another company-funded trip, let alone still have a job.
Yeah, exactly.
Judgment, NTA. And there's an update from one day later, but...
Yeah, I agree. And they will be blessed if they still had jobs after this, because who in their right mind would just keep these people on when it's like, oh, you literally failed at the only thing you were asked to do, and then you missed the flights, and then your mom called. It's like 3 strikes immediately.
Yeah. There's a huge display of lack of professionalism and concern here. Like, one, you had your mom call somebody. That's incredibly weird too.
Yeah.
You wasted company resources for the flight there and the flight back.
Right.
And are possibly going to have to bug someone who's on the after hours line and then book another flight. So that's even more money.
Correct.
And then you're not even there for the purpose that the company sent you.
These people were not ready to be in work mode. Well, let's get into that update.
Alrighty. An update from one day later. Here's my update from my meeting this morning. Meeting over. CMO didn't join. It was the other VP and director plus the internship coordinator who is in HR. VP asked all the questions. It was over Teams on camera, recorded, almost comically formal. I feel like I was being deposed or something. During the meeting, I was asked to recap what happened, starting from when we arrived. I was prepared, had all my key points, kept it factual on my actions, no speculation on their actions. I shared my phone screen live, went through the text messages with timestamps, and the voicemail from Specialist's mom. I was asked if I had requested or encouraged Specialist to put any expenses on her P card. This question took me by surprise. I said I didn't even ask or consider that she had a P card, and beside the lift from the airport to the hotel, which I scheduled and paid for, I was never outside of the hotel or official conference activities with either the Specialist or the intern that would have required any sort of payment. I did say I would consider it to be her line manager's responsibility to make sure she understood our travel and expense policies prior to traveling. I was asked if at any point I had reached out to anyone at the office about anything that was transpiring, to which I said no. I certainly intended to when I returned, but we were talking about everything that happened within a 32-ish hour window, all while I was trying to focus on what I was sent there to do. Participate as a panel member at the conference, attend other presentations, take advantage of face-to-face time with our agency, and accepting my award. Let's not forget, this is an award for OP.
Yeah, this is a company event.
I said I felt it was reasonable to believe any other attendees would have expectations for participation and outcomes set by their leadership team, especially when coming from another department, where I wouldn't be knowledgeable about their goals and objectives. Similarly, if there were different expectations of me based on other company attendees, I would expect that to be clearly communicated in advance. I was not asked if I thought intern and or specialist should receive any sort of reprimand, and I didn't feel comfortable trying to interject something like that based on the flow of conversation. I'm under the impression that they're meeting with specialists and interns separately, but my meeting was first. After the meeting, I debriefed with a trusted colleague who shared the following from Friday water cooler chats.
Oh, here comes the hot goss.
Oh my God. it's always great when you get like the secret chat from somebody. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, here's the down low.
The water cooler chat.
I definitely offended intern by pulling her aside about her outfit. She posted it to Snapchat with a caption about it, and some other interns or employees saw it, passing away to know exactly what it said, but coworker said everyone who did see it agreed it was inappropriate for a work event. Allegedly, all caps, Specialist's mom had once called previous director who left. The director in the meeting today replaced him about Specialist's working hours. It is known that several months ago, Specialist was pulled off a high-profile project team. Apparently, when she was asked to put in some evening and weekend hours to meet a deadline, mom called director and complained. What is going on in this person's life?
Nah, there's no way. You can't work for the company if your mom is managing you. That's
But-
crazy.
There's-
crazy.
It's insane. It's not normal. Like,
You're 25, not 15.
you go into a job, and I feel like the expectations of work and of weekend hours and like late nights are pretty much told to you in advance. And if it's a high profile project,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Not a team player.
Don't know if I believe this to be true, but mom stepping in could be a pattern. What I'm hoping helps validate my testimony is separately on Friday, one of my agency partners I was with emailed my CMO about a conversation we had after the ceremony on Thursday evening with some ideas he had. Typical agency salesy stuff, but he also unknowingly corroborated my alibi on Thursday night. So that's where we're at. Last night, I had convinced myself this all would result in me receiving a big apology or acknowledgement of wrongdoing, and that I shouldn't have had to deal with this, etc. But I didn't, which makes me feel this is still a bit unresolved. I did send all of my notes to VP on Sunday, but his PTO is medical related, and I know he's not able to really check in. So just keeping my head down until I hear anything else. And there's more comments.
Yeah, let's just dig into the comments.
So Chris FF1989 says, sounds like they paid for random stuff using their company card and tried to blame you for it. I'd be shocked if they keep their jobs. MSK165 said, thank you for this update. You won't get an apology. That's not how this works. One of the leadership may tacitly acknowledge that their behavior was wrong, but your involvement in this saga is over. My prediction, this is a career-limiting event for the both of them. The intern will not be receiving an offer, and Specialist will be terminated for using her P card for unapproved items. The termination will actually be for her helicopter mother, but on paper, it'll be for expense policy violations.
Okay, here we
Ooh,
go.
There's another update.
Let's
There's another
go.
update. 5
Update
days
number
later.
2.
Was I actually doxxed? Yes. While I received many incorrect guesses at my true identity, there were a couple that were correct. And holy crap, is that scary?
Wow.
I don't know what compels a person to go through such lengths to try and figure out who a random internet poster is, but maybe don't spend your time doing that.
I mean, you probably got like the date of when it happened. It was in Nashville. It's a salesy type job. Like, you did give enough information for someone to figure out maybe who you are. You said you won an award.
Yeah, you won an award. You were there with 2 other interns
Yeah.
or who weren't there with you.
Yeah, be careful, folks.
schmoozing.
Don't accidentally dox yourself out there.
So far, I have not been reprimanded over it, but I accept whatever comes of this. It's not my most professional move to air out others' not most professional moves on the internet, and I will seek a healthier outlet in the future. Maybe I'll make friendship bracelets or try diamond painting. Will Specialist and or intern be fired? To my knowledge, they're still employed, although today is the official last day for the entire summer intern cohort. I would handle one of my team members if they did this, but I trust they would never, ever, ever because they're sensible and smart and amazing and probably reading this. But for these two, it's not up to me to decide. And while I take full accountability for bringing all gestures widely on this myself, I'm at a point where I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative within my actual place of work. And you may not be using your P card for not so great purchases, but if you're in a place where you can do this during work, you can listen to full episodes of OK Storytime while you're working. Just don't get fired for it
Yes.
at work.
Just search OK Storytime on your favorite podcast platform and listen in your little headphone. I feel like so many people listen to us at work and are super productive. So go ahead and do that.
All right, there's a final conclusion and
Yeah.
update. So
I think final thoughts would just be like, you know, it's not part of your team. Yeah, were you done dirty? Yes. But like, I don't think you're going to get like the sweet nectar of like justice that you're hoping for.
No.
So it's best to just move on.
And if the company knows that you're posting about this on the internet, even if you didn't use any company names, there could be some like reprimand there's like, hey, it got back to us. Like people know it's us.
Yeah, that
So-
could be pretty bad. Yeah.
As much as we enjoyed reading this, like it's one of those situations where maybe you should have just like told people you know in person, like
yeah.
go off to dinner with them. It's like, yo, you're not gonna believe what happened to me.
Or maybe just been a little more low key on the details.
Mm-hmm. Be a
Yeah,
little more
maybe-
vague.
Not using the actual city. Maybe say you were somewhere else.
They wanted
like,
to go to a museum. They
Yeah.
wanted to. There's a thousand.
you could
conferences
literally
happening.
say we had a work event in Ottawa, Canada, and now no one knows what's going on. But anyways, let's finish this
All
story.
right. In conclusion, for everyone who sent comments and such nice supportive messages, thank you. Sincerely, I did get some good advice, and I'm glad I could help you temporarily escape into someone else's work drama, provide HR training material for new employees and on travel policies, or maybe validate that whatever you did on your first work trip that creeps into your brain when you're trying to fall asleep at night wasn't actually that bad. I took the rest of the week off, which may seem like an overreaction, but sometimes weird stuff impacts you in ways you aren't prepared for. I'm going to use the time to rest, do a bit of reflection, and look at some geriatric Pomeranians.
Wait, what? What was that last part? Look at
geriatric
what?
like really old Pomeranians, I guess. I guess that's
I'm gonna look
I
at
guess there are
pictures of
Pomeranian over there?
geriatric Pomeranians. Okay, everyone has to have a hobby.
I suppose this is an incredibly specific hobby, but
Yeah.
also kind of cute.
Yeah, I guess so.
Senior dogs need love too.
Yeah, geriatric Pomeranians deserve admiration.
Yeah. Disastrous Ocelot 317 said, I never considered look at pictures of geriatric Pomeranians to be particularly grounding, but honestly, that sounds lit. You deserve all good things. Thanks for updating.
Oh my God. Okay, we're gonna end it with
This is a little wild, yeah.
My coworker has taken a liking to me, and my boyfriend blames me for it.
I shouldn't have been so hot. Gosh.
Trigger warning, mentions of stalking.
Oh, dang.
I, 26 female, am going through a bit of an ordeal at work where a male colleague became slightly obsessive with me. It started with me just thinking he was being nice, but it seems to have accelerated very quickly. We had hardly any contact until he was moved into my team and quickly became friends as he liked a lot of the same things as me. Favorite TV shows, musicians, etc. After a few months, I did notice him make some odd comments about my boyfriend, 37 male, who he's never met but seen on my Insta. Things like, I wouldn't picture you as someone like him, or we'll see how long that lasts, and he's the kind of guy that'll hurt you in the end. By the way, this comes from Lucky Explorer 177, and you can submit your own stories on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Angie.
And I'm Keon.
And OP says, I thought he was being very assumptive, but didn't think anything of it. Maybe that's my fault. Then the flirting started, or what I think he thought was flirting, where he would compliment me in a really specific, odd way, like the way I walked or how nice I smelled. Some of the comments became quite uncomfortable, so I started backing away from him. But as we're in the same team, they continued and just got more bizarre. He'd compare me to characters in the shows we both watched, but would reference specific spicy sleep scenes and how I would do it so much better. And that's when we get HR
Oh
involved.
my gosh, absolutely. That's crazy
That's
talk.
not okay. Very gross, very inappropriate, I know. But I've never been one to cause a scene or get anyone in trouble, so instead thought I'd just tell him straight that he was making me uncomfortable and he needed to stop. This was yesterday and he didn't take it well, shouting at me in the office that I had no idea what the F I was talking about and soon I'd get it. Not sure what he meant by that. He was told to go for a walk and cool off by our team lead. When he returned about 20 minutes later, he immediately apologized and said he had some things going on outside of work and assured me it'd never happen again. I don't believe him.
Yeah.
He even thanked me for raising how I felt and said that he'd never do anything to make me uncomfortable again. This morning, I woke up to the longest string of messages I've ever received. It was sent at 1 a.m. and started by him saying that he was in love with me and we were meant to be together.
Oh my gosh.
The messages then range from creepy compliments to saying he was going to find out where I live. Now we've gone from HR to police.
And we're screenshotting messages, recording conversations.
One part literally reads, I was put on this earth for you and only you.
There's no other option. I won't bore everyone with putting in the whole text, as this post is already too long, but there are some things that I found very threatening. I called my manager this morning and said I won't be coming into work and that I needed to formally complain about him. She was understanding, and we had a long Teams call and started the process with HR, etc.
Good.
So now my boyfriend's response. This morning when I showed him the messages, he was supportive and insisted I don't go to work and stay at his. He wanted to call off work too and call the police, but I said I just wanted to focus on informing work today, etc., and think about how to proceed. However, when he came back from work today, his attitude seemed to have completely changed. He said he thought it was effed up that I didn't go to the police and that he thinks I have feelings for this coworker. What just happened? When I assured him that's not the case, he told me that guys don't write messages like that if there's nothing behind it.
Well, obviously.
Unless they're crazy. And that I must have been at least leading this guy on for him to end up acting so irrationally. The more I tried to defend myself, the more irate he got. And he started saying that he hated how I acted so innocent all the time when he knows deep down I'm a witch. And that he should have known I was a low-value woman. What happened? Did
That's
this guy
disgusting.
Did he get red-pilled on his walk?
Clearly, no one else uses low-value
That's
women.
insane. He's never, ever called me things like that before, and it was so upsetting. Beyond that, he ended up asking me to leave, so now I've had to come back to my flat when I'm feeling pretty vulnerable and a little scared. For context, I got with my boyfriend quite quickly after I moved to the country I'm now living in, so my only friends are his friends.
Man.
All my family and friends are back in my home country, so nowhere else to go. I really think that what has happened is not my fault. It isn't.
No.
And I'm incredibly disappointed with his reaction, especially when for the past few weeks, I've told him how uncomfortable this guy has been making me. So he's been kept informed. However, I think it's important to note for context that he was previously cheated on by his ex-fiancée, so I know that any hint of cheating is a big trigger for him, which may explain his reaction. No.
Here's the thing with those things. I don't care. I
I
give
also
a
don't
crap
care.
about if you've been cheated on before. I do not give a crap.
Doesn't mean you can treat your current partner poorly.
Exactly.
No
Because,
excuse.
yeah.
So, do I break up with him? Yes. Sorry for the dragged out tale, but wanted people to have all the context and a bit of a rant, to be honest. As I don't want to tell my family all this, it'll just worry them considering they're so far away. So my boyfriend of 9 months and I have just had a big fight, and now I'm home alone and seeking advice from strangers, I guess, and there are some relevant comments and an update, but what are your thoughts?
Yeah, you should definitely break up with him.
I agree.
I mean, if there's ever like a level of trust, I guess, that's like not there, like if he's starting to not trust you while victim blaming you of like this pesterment, then like that's not someone that you should be with. That's not something that you work through. That's something that's like, okay, well, if you don't trust me for something that's absolutely not my fault, then we shouldn't be together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. No,
Mhm.
absolutely. I mean, there's no relationship at that point.
Yeah.
Some relevant comments. Deleted says, please go to the police about your coworker. I think you are underreacting to the danger he poses to your safety. His obsessive behavior is really scary, and it sounds like it will only escalate. As for your boyfriend, the low-value woman comment seems like he's been red-pilled.
Exactly what you were saying.
At the heart of his outbreak is probably fear and concern, but it's really troubling that he is taking it out on you. This might be a good time to leave and visit home, but not without first filing a police report. You are definitely in danger, and stalkers don't take no lightly.
Yeah. Absolutely, especially since like
You have the threats.
yeah, the threats, and then like as soon as she was just like, "Hey, you need to
He
stop
screamed
this,"
at her.
yeah, he's getting
And you have
mad and
witnesses?
dangerous, and said that you're gonna get it, and then he's gonna find out where you live. Like even if those weren't all in the same sentence, it's like, and then he's also all of a sudden being like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have been treated like that. I should be better." It's unpredictable now, so
Yeah.
absolutely.
OP says, thanks for your advice. I think you're right with the whole red-pilled thing. and think I know exactly who he must have spoken to yesterday to have come back with that stuff. Just very confusing when he's never indicated thinking that way himself. I'm going to see if he reaches out to talk, but nothing so far. As for the coworker, I've stayed home again today, but have an in-person meeting later with my manager and HR as they've opened an investigation. I blocked my colleague on everything, which I think some comments said was a bad idea, but I didn't realize. So I haven't heard anything from him, but that almost is making me more nervous and paranoid. A work friend is going to come over later to talk about involving the police. Thanks again for taking the time to comment. It's really appreciated. And there is an update 4 months later.
Woo,
but
boy.
Any thoughts before we dive right in?
I don't know. I'm just worried. I could see, I guess, how
Me
it's
too.
like a bad idea to block because then they might like, if they know they can't reach out to you, then they might show up at your house.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense, but that's something I didn't think about before.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
But it does make, like, you might kind of egg them on or
Yeah.
something. I don't know.
Good to know. Good to know
Scary,
for all my
very
people out
scary.
there.
No, I'm really hoping that OP's dealt with this stalker situation and broken up with her boyfriend.
Hopefully.
Quite delayed. It's been a journey, but I had some lovely concerned messages, so wanted to post a quick update. Thank you for everyone's comments and messages. You were all bang on, and I'm so glad to say I'm out of this situation.
Yay.
Woohoo! Boyfriend update. He came back apologizing as many of you predicted he would. He confirmed my assumption that he had spoken to a specific friend that day who had gotten him all riled up on the idea that it's always the girls who seem innocent that aren't.
Whatever.
And that I had clearly been cheating with his coworker. At
Stupid.
first, he did pretty well at apologizing and taking accountability on the phone. But when we met up, I could see he was still angry at me for some reason. Turns out he felt abandoned by me because I wasn't the first to reach out after the fight.
I don't
That's
give a
so
crap.
ridiculous. He's like, you didn't reach out. That's when I knew it was over and I couldn't forgive him. How he was making this situation about himself still blows my mind. I left him, received some more red pill abuse, and have heard nothing since. Good riddance.
Good
And there is
riddance
a
indeed.
stalker update, folks.
Oh, boy.
Things got a little scary. I returned to work while he was suspended under investigation. Only 1 week later, I had gone out for dinner, and when I returned home, he was standing outside my apartment building. It was dark, and he was wearing a hoodie, so I didn't realize it was him until I got close enough to see his face. I completely froze, and for a second, I stupidly thought he was going to apologize and beg not to get him fired, but instead, he said he'd missed me. I have no idea how this man found out where I live, but I think he is very unwell. I backed away into the street, but he grabbed me into a hug or something,
Oh,
not totally
gosh.
sure of his intentions. Luckily, some passerbys heard me shouting for him to get off and intervened. Forcibly had to get him to let go. He then ran away. I finally went to the police and started the process of getting a restraining order. Even after this, I received explicit emails from weird email addresses and requests from newly made Insta accounts. I have since deleted and remade all accounts. By the way, you can join us on all of our accounts with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search a Poke Storytime. There is a little bit left to this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah, so scary.
I'm very glad for those other people, those good Samaritans helping you out. But that is truly terrifying. Yeah, definitely file a police report, which she did, right?
She did, yes.
Okay,
yes.
good,
She's
good.
filing the police report and the restraining order.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But there is a little bit left. After this experience, I have moved back to my home country. Oh, I wish I had been brave enough to stay, but I was honestly living in fear, not to be dramatic,
You're not.
and just didn't have the support of friends and family that I needed. Anyway, just wanted to thank all of you strangers again that made me feel justified in my feelings. I really have learned a valuable lesson to raise the alarm when you feel threatened, and truly hope none of you have to go through this experience. Also, if someone loves you, they should never abandon you in times of crisis.
True.
Stay safe out there. And that is the end of that story, folks.
Wow. Yeah, no, I'm glad that you moved away. Honestly, I feel like that was a good move. You were not safe there. You were not safe. Maybe, someday you can move back if you want to. But yeah, I think you are not dramatic or not unbrave to make the right decision. Like don't
That's
have
such
to.
a tough decision. You have to
Yeah.
be brave to make that decision.
Yeah,
To
true.
stand up for yourself. So
Honestly.
yeah,
So-
don't don't think that just because you decided to move, that is you like losing in a way.
Right, or like cowering away.
Yeah,
or
it's
something
like,
like that.
no,
It's
you're making a decision that is for your own safety.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
My boss used to be my best friend till she became my worst nightmare.
A tale as old as time.
Trigger warning, verbal abuse. Also, this comes from one of our family members on the r/OK Storytime freaking subreddit.
Wait, from the fam?
I was recently fired without just cause from my full-time job. I received severance and I'm moving on, but I really loved my job and my coworkers, so losing it has been difficult and stressful, and honestly, just really sad. I excelled at my job and it brought me a lot of joy overall. I was paid well, appreciated by my coworkers and clients, and the job itself was the perfect fit for me. There were so many boxes that were checked. By the way, this comes from Proper Armadillo 123. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So OP says, the only real downside, however, turned out to be a big one. The boss, who also happened to be one of my closest friends for a time. I live in a somewhat small community and was casual friends with the owner/boss, whom I'll call Donna.
Donna, lady, Madonna? Your boss was Madonna?
What? When I was hired, but we quickly became close friends after I started working there. She called me her sidekick. We worked very closely together, more so than anyone else on the team. Because of this, she sung my praises when she was in a good mood. But she was also harder on me and more critical and abrupt towards me than anyone else, aside from her husband, who also worked there and was often blessed with her backlash. I am usually very kind and loving, emotional person with a big heart who cares deeply, whereas Donna was almost the total opposite. So we're an odd pairing that confused people who really know me and knew of Donna's reputation. She behaved as if I was lucky to be chosen by her because she didn't open up to many people.
Well, I feel like was that what that was? Or was that more like people in the office are like, how are you friends with this? How are you friends with this person everyone else hates? Like, don't you, like, this person has a problem with literally everyone else, but you're friends with them? Like, how is that even possible? That's how I read that. I don't know.
To be honest,
Because I could see that, like,
yeah, I
everyone,
just think that this person's a little bit more abrupt or more, and
Donna.
people- yeah, Donna, and people are like, oh, this kind of catches me off guard, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's always a hard position to be in, being friends with your boss, because people are automatically going to be like, oh, yeah, well, look at best friends with the boss. You know, kind of no matter how your boss is, like, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, like, check out the butt kisser over here, like, being
brown
best friends
noser.
with the bros, with the
Someone-
boss.
Someone recently called me a brown noser whenever I was just trying to be, talk nice about them.
It's crazy.
Donna had a history of not burning bridges, both personally and professionally, but nuking them.
Oh, even worse.
Oh my.
Much worse.
And joked about how spiteful and vindictive she could be. She regularly told me I had to keep our personal and professional lives separate, but what she really meant was I couldn't hold it against her as my friend when she treated me poorly as my boss. The lines were always blurred all the time otherwise, and our lives became very intertwined both in the office and outside of it. My colleagues, friends, and family all made several comments to me of concern about this over time, but I made excuses for her a lot, even when I've been brought to tears by how she's spoken to me. I knew she had a very difficult upbringing and experienced a lot of trauma, so I would tell them she really didn't mean it and tried not to take it personally. You can only give someone so much slack.
Yeah, especially it's like your trauma is not an excuse for you to just treat people poorly.
Yep. She could be really fun and generous when she wanted to be on her terms, but otherwise, she was snappy, intense, extremely moody with severe swings, insensitive, condescending, and acted as if she knew everything. Everyone else, from experience, knew to keep their distance from her, but my job was specifically tied to hers, and we became close that I loved her despite these issues. She had been abandoned so many times by so many people over the years, and had repeatedly asked me to never to leave her, telling me I was the best job title she'd ever hired by far, and she didn't know how she'd gone all these years without me. She told me I was the embodiment of agape love. I would promise her that I was loyal and wasn't going anywhere, and was very vocal about it and how much I loved my job. My husband was always worried that things wouldn't end well because he knew I couldn't emotionally handle being whiplash ad nauseum. But I was so stupidly trusting of her love bombing, and things were going well that I'm ashamed to admit I cowed down when things weren't. To avoid the blow up I witnessed on numerous occasions. She treated me like this in every facet and was sometimes oddly possessive/jealous. She would get angry with me and call me unprofessional for being overly friendly with my coworkers. For example, after I'd worked there for a very short time, I sent a friendly happy anniversary message in the team chat for 2 coworkers' work anniversaries. Workiversary, yay! Which everyone responded positively to, including her husband. But Donna was not happy.
How dare you?
Oh, look at that.
She tore a strip off of me, saying that I was overstepping, that this was type of thing was her job, not mine. A few months later, I bought each of my coworkers a very small trinket for their desk with a little personalized card to express my appreciation for working so well with them. Donna was so upset by this that she continued to bring it up in conversation for over a year afterwards. Why does this person have no grace for you? And why is she so mad that you're nice?
It's a crazy thing to bring up a year later.
She told me it was inappropriate and unprofessional, that if anyone is going to be giving coworkers gifts of appreciation, it should be her, not me. I should mention that I had an older coworker who gave beautiful and thoughtful gifts to me and other coworkers so many times, and it was never an issue for her. After I'd been at this job for almost 2 years, I took a vacation, my first vacation in nearly 12 years. Before I left, I scheduled an email to our small but close and casual team to be sent while I was away, telling them I missed them and hope that they're having a great week, and I look forward to seeing them upon my return. Donna showed up at my house unannounced in the morning after I returned from vacation with Starbucks in hand. It's important to note I had just declined a coffee date with her that same morning. I was explaining I was too busy catching up on things at home after returning from my trip. She invited herself inside my home, jokingly chastised me when I didn't offer her a spicy point at 9 a.m. It's illegal here, and we both smoke it, but she does it much more heavily than me, and throughout the day, every day, even while driving or working. So I prepared one for her that she partook in alone. Then she proceeded to lecture me about respecting people's boundaries, telling me the email I had sent was inappropriate and unprofessional and not welcome in her office.
Yo, sis, what happened to compartmentalizing work life and friend life? You literally just barged in here as my friend, and now you're lecturing me about work boundaries.
Oh, but didn't you forget that during that thing, it's always on this Donna's terms. So whatever Donna is thinking at that moment is what she can do.
Oh, my bad, bro. I forgot Donna's the queen of the whole universe.
Yeah.
She's the boss. She's literally.
She's Madonna.
She's John Bon Jovi.
So she told me that my coworkers don't like me as much as I like them. They don't want to be my friends, and that I love bomb people by forcing my friendship on them. My email was cringe, and other people had approached her in private to tell her it made them uncomfortable, which I don't actually believe. For clarity, my coworkers had never expressed any of these said boundaries to me, and everyone had always been friendly and open with me. I should have stood up for myself then and there, but I was put on the spot and insulted in my own home, my safe place, intend to avoid confrontation.
Can't avoid the confrontation, dude.
Why do people avoid conversation when all they have to do is speak truthfully and honest?
Because it's like there's that initial moment of like discomfort
Yeah.
when you try to have like a real, when you try to bring up something uncomfy.
Oh,
It
sorry.
is. I mean, it's not comfy,
Yeah.
but you got to get on the other side of discomfort to get to like to a better spot.
Yeah. As my godmother says, because they're afraid of the reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That I do kind of hold that back, but also being a people pleaser is a type of manipulation because you're trying to do what the other you think that the other person likes, and that's kind of manipulating the
Yeah,
situation.
you're like manipulating yourself, and then
Mm.
by extension, manipulating what other people think about you because it's not really you at that point.
Yeah. So I told her that as my employer, if she didn't want me to send emails like that through work, then I certainly wouldn't do it again. But she admitted that as a friend, how she worded that felt really harsh, and she started to tear up. She rolled her eyes at me and told me not to be so sensitive and compared me to a child. A few weeks later, the situation exploded in a way I never expected. For context, I have 2 young special needs children who often struggle behaviorally. For the most part, Donna was always impressively accommodating when I needed to leave work early or work from home on days where my children needed extra care, which was one of the greatest things about my job. She always told me that being a mom came first, and she was happy to help me find a work-life balance. At the end of the school year, June, my kids were having an especially difficult time, and following a particularly violent outburst from my youngest, I began to feel very guilty that I might be failing my kids, that my working full-time was too much for them. I decided to do some math to see if we could afford me to work less. I was shocked to find out we'd actually save money if I worked less, due to childcare costs and other things. So I texted my 3 closest friends sharing that information, and Donna was one of them. She responded saying she wasn't sure what to say about that. I realized she misunderstood my message and explained that I was just musing to a friend. I wasn't actually asking to reduce my hours, and if I were to officially request that, I would do so formally to her as my employer. She didn't respond.
Honestly, dog, at this point, that's kind of on you. Like, it should be pretty clear after she, like, came into your house and, like, you know, rolled up a freaking doobie.
Yeah. Started
And
going after you.
and then went after you for your work ethic and, like, also, like, not knowing. I don't know. Like, it should have been very clear, like, okay, these lines are getting blurred, and, like, the difference between her as my superior and her as my friend is no longer, like, it doesn't exist really anymore right now. She came, like, she felt as your superior, she was entitled to walk into your home.
After
Those
you
are 2 completely different things.
After you canceled the coffee date with her.
Right. So she's like fully not separating her authority over you as a boss from her, you know, relationship with you as a friend. They're bleeding through entirely.
Yeah.
So you saying that as a friend, got to say that to a different person because she's both always at the same time.
Exactly. The next day at work, her husband came into my office, told me that Donna told him that I said working for them was costing me money. I told him that I most certainly did not say it like that and didn't mean it like that, but I had done some math after an extremely difficult few days with my children's behavior. He said they wanted me to do what was best for my family and would try and support that. After he left, I started thinking about the idea of working less in more detail and went to his office to tell him I might have an idea that would work for all of us. But I needed to crunch some numbers first and discuss with my husband. He told me sure and to let him know. Soon afterwards, Donna started sending me text messages. She was livid that he betrayed her trust by talking to me about this and bringing this issue into the workplace. She vented, called him a dumb butt, an effing turd, and a useless effing butt, and said she was so effing angry with him she could effing one to him.
Hey, you know, that doesn't sound like a very HR friendly thing to say.
Oh, this is even better. She said this is why women are better, and sometimes men aren't just worth it. Effing wiener faces.
And this is another coworker, right?
Still Donna.
But talking about, is the guy a coworker or was the guy like a partner?
The guy's a partner and coworker.
Okay.
So Donna's husband. Yeah.
Okay. Whereas at this point, it's like fully HR. It's full HR time. What are we doing? Well, who is Donna's superior?
I told her I didn't think he meant any harm by it, and I wasn't upset. She told me she understood where I was coming from, but he caused unneeded stress. We went back and forth. She brought up her abandonment issues again. I assured her that I loved my job and her and wasn't going anywhere. She told me that there was no rush. We could table it for another time and brainstorm later. She's manipulating you every time she says she has abandonment issues, by the way.
Certainly feels that way.
Yeah. She arrived at work later. We discussed it more and agreed to put a pin in it. The next morning, she texted me saying that she wanted to add one of my job duties that required a lot of walking to the list of things to consider reducing. I have been dealing with a knee issue for over a year that had progressively gotten worse, and I had recently been instructed by one of my medical professionals to start using a cane. Oh my gosh. She didn't like seeing me walk around and approaching clients with a cane.
But like in what way? Like in the way where it's like, I'm sorry for you, or
Like,
in the way that like you're disgusting? Like, because I feel like it's
you
the
don't-
second one.
Yeah, I do too. Like, I feel so bad that you have to walk around in that cane. Let's get you sit down so you don't have to walk around everywhere.
Yeah.
Or, oh, you look so weird with that cane. Got to make you stop.
Yeah. Or just like, I'm afraid you're afraid you're gonna whack me with it or something. I don't know.
And said I was obviously in pain and she felt I was moving more slowly because of it. And that was not cost effective for them. Okay.
Oh, we're doing the we're pulling that, huh? Okay. Do you smell it?
I do.
Do you smell the lawsuit in the air?
Oh,
Do you smell the lawsuit in the air about that?
Wait, OP, you're one of us. Dude, you can sue her. Sue her.
Even if you weren't one of us, you should still sue her.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah.
she's saying that like your use of a cane is like a detriment to when it's like clearly not.
Yeah. I wasn't actually taking extra time by using a cane, but I was in pain. So I agreed to discuss it. When I arrived at work, she was visibly very upset about something. She told me that she wasn't comfortable with leaving things in limbo. And thanks to her doofus husband, who was sitting right there, for bringing it up at work, we needed to settle my working situation right away that he had forced her hand. But I reminded her that we had agreed to wait, that I hadn't actually asked for anything yet. But she said that that was no longer an option. I went to my office and soon later she stormed out of the building. That's when the emails started. She initially sent an email to both me and her husband saying that we needed to figure this out as soon as possible. She offered a proposal, new hourly arrangement. I responded that I hadn't even talked to my husband about this yet, and once I had a chance to do it, that I could write up a proposal and that it would start in the beginning of September. She responded that she wanted the reduced hours to begin as soon as possible and not to wait until September. I explained that my children were already registered and paid for summer camp, so I didn't need the reduced hours until school started again, and working less immediately would hinder us financially. She said she would prefer it to begin immediately and would not elaborate on her reasons why. You see what's happening?
I think she's just like hating you now.
Yeah. And she's taking this out on you by reducing your hours.
Yeah, you're being like, oh well, that would actually like hurt us financially if you really did that right now because I don't need it. She's like, yeah, I don't care. It sounds good. I want that. Yeah, they need to be reduced immediately because of my husband.
Yeah, and we already know what's going to happen, but she seems to be leaning on getting rid of you. So this was all really overwhelming, and after many emails, I was having a lot of anxiety and difficult concentrating on my work. So I left earlier than usual that afternoon. I emailed her that evening agreeing to the new proposal schedule after discussing it with my husband. It was 7 hours less work a week than I had been working, but had some remote hours worked in, and I offered to do some extra time from home when needed. The next morning, I woke up to an email she'd sent me around sunrise. She's typically a night owl who sleeps in as late as possible, so her emailing me at that time of day was not a good sign. The email basically said that these reduced hours will work for the summer, but come September, my hours will need to be reduced even more so she can hire someone else to split my job in half. She's punishing you. What she's doing.
If you got like paper trail receipts of those, conversations and threads and stuff, yeah, I would start getting them together
Yeah.
because this is clearly like retaliatory,
Yes.
which is not okay.
We could find a lawyer somewhere.
Yeah, and you could probably get at least compensated for lost wages or Discrimination in the workplace would be huge
Yeah.
if you can say that any of this was done because of your medical problem with your knee.
Mhm.
And
That'd be huge.
don't forget stress. There's
And
like immediate
stress, and then
Yeah.
also the agreed
Emotional damage.
agreed upon conversations that were thus changed just because she had the power to do that.
Yeah.
She went on to explain that I was putting her in hardship and she needed to do what was best for her business, and that me doing this was very hurtful and stressful, and she couldn't be expected to make all of these sacrifices for me and to pick up my slack by doing a part of my job due to my knee issue, which was entirely her idea, not mine, only to better my situation because of my choices. I suddenly felt really scared about my job security and was overcome with all the stress I'd been dealing with. And unfortunately, I suffered a major panic attack. I'm talking sobbing uncontrollably, drooling on the floor, pupils dilated, hyperventilating, a panic attack. My husband witnessed this and was very worried about me. Once it was over, I quickly developed a very painful migraine and had to message our team chat that I was staying home from work because of it. Donna replied, but deleted the message before I could see it. My husband also took the day off to stay with me, so I wasn't left alone in that state. That evening, she messaged me to ask how I was doing and said she was there if I needed to talk. The next day at work was tense and awkward. She emailed the entire team announcing my new hours effective the following week and that she was taking over my job duty regarding my knee moving forward. I reiterated that I was capable to continue doing this aspect of my job, and you should see the overly official ChatGPT super HR themed response that I got.
Yeah. It's time to call the lawyer.
I kept my head down and did my job and went home for the weekend. I posted on my personal Facebook about my panic attack due to stress as a way of bringing awareness and support to mental health. Donna loved my post and texted me telling me that she was thinking of me and she adores me and is always there for me if I want to talk, and that she loves me. I was flabbergasted. I messaged back thanking her, but saying that I wasn't really sure how to respond because after everything that had happened that week, I was feeling hurt and backed into a corner. I told her it was something I think we needed to discuss at another time, but it wasn't in the right space for talking about right now, but didn't want to give her the silent treatment either. She replied and said she disagreed. We needed to talk about it, and we needed to talk about it tonight.
I don't know, man. I would, like I said, I would be in communication with a lawyer at this point. I know your doctor said that you should use a cane, but like, I don't know if you need like a legal status as disabled in order to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
But whatever it is that you would maybe need to go through to get that status, I would look into that.
She said that she would not continue this way for very long, that I started all this by sending an unprofessional and hurtful text message. She said I caused this mess and she does not often experience daily drama and was not about to start now. Text messages kept coming one after another. I told her I was sorry. I couldn't talk about it right now. I felt like I was going to have another panic attack and needed to turn off my phone. The next morning, I woke up to an email she had sent me in the middle of the night. She apologized for the way things had gone lately and said our new arrangement felt like a lose-lose situation and she believed in win-win deals and asked if there was any way we could reach a compromise for now. At least she kind of has a heart. I don't know. I don't know. She said she was sorry. She insisted I reduce my hours right away. But my random text in the middle of June was painful and felt like a slap to the face. She continued to word that text in the misunderstood way and went on to basically say how much of an inconvenience I was causing her. She offered some alternatives. Later that morning, she sent me a personal text saying that it was important that I knew that even when we are having a disagreement, she still cares about me very much. I tried my best to respond to the email explaining that my main priority was being more available to my children after school when they seemed to struggle the most, and gave a detailed response on a working arrangement that could potentially work better for the both of us. I saw her later that day while I was dropping off my kid at camp. She gave me a big hug and told me again that she loves me. My other child started having a meltdown, so I had to leave. Later, she responded to my email saying she was happy with it and it felt like a better compromise and a win-win for both of us. At this point, it felt like the work hour situation was resolved, but the misunderstanding and how she had been treating me was not. And I didn't think I could go back to being her friend if those weren't also addressed. since our work life and personal life were so intertwined. Sometimes I think back what happened next and wish I would have just left it alone. Other times, I'm glad I spoke up and attempted to defend myself. Ay, 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 dude. This woman's just like, she likes playing with you like a little puppet, you know?
Is she playing game? She's a gamer, but not the cool kind.
Yeah, not the cool kind that you want to hang out with. We are kind of almost done. We have more shenanigans from Donna.
Yeah, look, I'm also seeing people in the chat saying you don't need an official thing for disability status. Talk to a lawyer who specializes in disability law.
Yep.
Immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and hopefully you can find someone who would like just operate based on like a split of the payout in a settlement or something. Because it sounds like you could really run this woman's pockets, and I wouldn't even feel bad about it because she's treating you terribly, and it sounds like she also treats everyone around her terribly.
Dude, imagine being her husband.
No, I couldn't. I'd be gone.
Yeah. I would pack a bag and move to New Mexico immediately.
Move out into the desert. I'd rather live in a hole in the ground that I dug with my bare hands.
Basically.
At
They
least
got a
there
YouTube
I
on
have
that.
peace.
Yeah. So later that weekend, I sat down and wrote a long email response going over what had happened in an attempt to explain where I had been coming from and why I felt so stressed and hurt, and to clear up any leftover misunderstanding. I was genuinely hoping for peace and amicable resolution by getting it all off my chest in a respectful way. She responded addressing me by my given name and not the nickname she always called me, which is never a good sign. She said that her and her husband had nothing further to discuss regarding this matter. She thanked me for the clarification, but said the hours were already agreed upon, so to please and try to enjoy my weekend. This has been resolved as far as they are concerned. But was it? The following Monday morning, I had to stay home sick. Really bad timing, I know, but trust me, when I say it was not within my control, I needed to stay very close to my bathroom that day. The next day, while at work, she sent me a message on the work chat that we needed to have a discussion. I won't get into the whole half-hour conversation, but it started with her asking me if I was still planning on working my hours and doing my job. I was confused. She said I didn't seem like I'd been coming into work much lately.
One day? This woman is psycho.
This woman's wild.
Or maybe she's, maybe.
What?
Maybe she's actually like Dr. Manhattan. She like lives within like the present and the past and the future at the same time. And that's why she's just so terrible and awful to everyone, because she's just like, she can't keep track of what's going on.
She doesn't know what's actually happening around her. It's always something new.
Yeah.
She thinks she has an understanding, but it's just different.
I feel like you haven't been coming into work recently. It's like it's been a day. It's day 2 of my new schedule.
Yeah.
And I needed my bathroom.
I needed it. I was still confused and asked if this was about me calling in sick the day before. It was, and she clearly didn't believe I was actually sick. She even brought up my final email and wanted to know why I sent it after things were resolved and why I included her husband in the email, telling me it was very unprofessional and inappropriate. She told me I was causing daily drama in my manic state. I have an anxiety disorder and I have never in my entire life been in a manic state. She said she had to tiptoe around me to avoid offending me all the time, again telling me I'm unprofessional and comparing me to a child.
This is like holy projection, Batman. This is everything she's saying about you, OP, is like more about her. She sounds like she's always in a manic state.
Yeah.
And then she goes crazy on it. And like you said, it's like I don't have mania, I have anxiety. Like, I don't blow up, I shut down.
Yeah.
Like, so it's, I hope you've got a record of all of this.
Also,
Just
where do you work?
Start keeping a record of everything that your boss is doing. Because this is not your friend anymore. This is just your boss. We talked about this the other day where it's like there's moments when you have, and like when I have an old boss who's like my best friend. So you can be really good friends with your boss. But there are moments in like these kind of dynamics and relationships where it's like everything changes and it's like a fork in the road.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, okay, this is the way we're going to be going about this now, huh?
Yeah.
We had been being cool, but now you're reducing my hours and putting like my financial security at risk and like treating me like crap all the time. It's like,
Comparing
okay,
me to a child.
right. We're clearly down the this is all business, and I'm going to approach it as business. And guess what? If a business treats me poorly, I'm going to run its pockets for all that I can.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to care that you were my friend, because you're not.
Don't worry, I'm not going to abandon you. I'm going to sue you.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving until I get my money.
Don't worry. I'm just going to give you the opportunity to pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Yay. We all love doing that.
Bootstrap boo.
I told her that was really ironic and felt to me like she was projecting, and eventually asked if she was considering telling me that I love bomb people to be a professional way to behave as an employer. She claims she said that to me as a friend, not an employer. Ooh, don't get those mixed up, OP. Ooh. Things went back and forth for a while, and she told me that her husband told her I'm effing lying about my initial text message, that I sent him into a depression over all of this, that I blew up our friendship, and I should take the rest of the week off. I asked her if it was a paid leave. She said, oh, right. Then consider this my 2-week working notice instead. She huffed out of my office saying, sorry, this has been such a horrible place to work, and I have been such a terrible person to work for.
Trying to say that ironically to Guilt OP, not realizing she was just like telling the actual truth, is hilarious.
She quickly sent an email to the entire team, except for me, telling everyone that effective 2 weeks from now, I would no longer be working for the company. It read, this decision was made after careful consideration and is in line with our commitment to maintaining a productive and positive work environment. It has also been brought to my attention that some team members may not feel comfortable speaking with me directly due to the fear of repercussions or concerns about being treated unfairly or harshly by me. This is something I take very seriously, and I apologize if that continues to be the case. Complete delusion, in my opinion.
So she sends that message being like, yeah, effective in 2 weeks, I'm firing this woman because she slighted me. And also, I've heard that people don't think they can talk to me about stuff. So I'm really sorry about that, but you totally can.
What is happening?
It's like, I would at this, if it didn't, it's probably not a smart move, but it'd be so funny if you rallied the rest of the employees and were like, we should all just quit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we should all leave this place.
Honestly, like, go for it. And the consequence, here we go. After this email was sent, one of my coworkers immediately went home sick. A private meeting was held between Donna and another staff member considering management. Immediately afterwards, Donna came back to my office, told me that there had been chatter, so my staying 2 weeks wasn't going to work out and I needed to leave immediately.
What?
Told I already packed up my stuff. I knew there was no way she'd be mature enough to work alongside me amicably for the next 2 weeks. By the way, we got more than 2 weeks of content on your favorite podcast platform. All you got to do is search up OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. Go watch us there for longer than 2 weeks.
Dude,
but
2 weeks times 35, that's
Really?
70 days.
Oh, yeah, that's where we're at. Oh, wow. But, dude, what the heck is happening? What the heck?
I think it's clearly lawyer. Lawyer, get the lawyer. This is a slam dunk. If this company's making any money, it's yours now.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to really lean into the cane. Hey, this is America, baby. The land of the lawsuit, home of the lawyered up. Okay?
Yeah. She had blocked me on social media by the time I reached my car. She sent me my final paycheck, including severance, but made some errors, so there was still some back and forth emailing to resolve it. She posted on our local moms group that the same afternoon that she was looking to hire someone drama-free to fill my position in a community where many people fully knew I was the one she was referring to. She also posted a gift that she'd bought for me but hadn't given to me for sale on Marketplace, saying it was no longer needed. A few days later, she removed me from a local social group she started as a side business venture that I had a paid membership for. So Reddit, jury, and OK Storytime executioner, have you reached a verdict? What will you say?
I say
Honestly.
lawyer.
Dude, just get
Law her.
Law
lawyer,
her.
for real, and keep us updated on this.
Law her up, dude.
You don't need to deal with this whatsoever. This is ridiculous in
Yeah,
every
all
way,
that
shape, or
stress.
form. Oh my gosh, please talk to a lawyer immediately.
I lost motivation to do favors for my friend's daughter because she's ungrateful.
Well, then she doesn't deserve it.
I run a small family party business from my home as a second job. My coworker is a single mom with 5 kids. Over the years, I have offered a few times to make party favors and decorations for her kids' parties as a gift. Things are a struggle for her, and I just wanted to do something nice for her kids. By the way, this comes from Aunt Sam's mom, 25, and if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I buy all of the supplies and my labor is free and is their gift. The scale and cost of everything changes depending on the event. I do this for my nieces and nephews as well. I enjoy doing it and I think it makes people happy. A few weeks ago, I offered to make Sweet 16 favors and some decorations for a small restaurant party for my coworker's daughter. One night, I FaceTime with the mother and the daughter and we were discussing colors. She picked light blue and light pink as her color scheme. That's not colors I normally would associate with a Sweet 16, and I mentioned it to her that I was concerned it would look more like a baby shower. She snapped at me and said, "I want light blue and light pink." A few days later, I'm speaking to the mother that I wasn't finding a lot of Sweet 16 items in that color scheme. She picked up the phone and calls her daughter on speakerphone and explains to her the issue. The daughter abruptly said, "What part of light pink and light blue does she not understand? I know she's a child and has had a rough road, but am I the a-hole for not going the extra mile for them? Extra mile making them. I offer to make favors and I will make sure they are beautiful, but any joy I have making them is totally gone. Normally I would do a couple of surprises along with the favors, but I just don't have it in me, and I feel terrible for being upset at a child. I feel like such a terrible person. Any advice on what I should do?" Consensus, not the a-hole, though commenters tell OP to be more assertive. Some also say they would have not done anything for her coworker and the daughter anymore. And OP is more gracious than advised. Comments by OP. Here's some answers to a few questions. When the daughter snapped at me, the mother half-heartedly apologized to me, saying, "You understand teenagers." And I do understand teenagers. Normally, when I offer to do favors for someone, we discuss the colors and what I can offer for the party. I will give the person my honest opinion and make sure they're aware that I might not have exactly what they want. She wanted things that said Sweet 16 in her specific color choice, light blue and light pink. I was unable to find that. I can find pink alone, but not the combo. I wanted to make sure she understood. Not to criticize her, but just to make sure she was aware it might not be exactly what she was looking for. It's not worth my time to make something for someone if it's not exactly what they want. I ask clients and family members to make sure I understand what they want. I have no personal opinion of any kind. I could care less what colors people pick or theme they use, not my business, but I'm not going to shy away from being honest. I will explain to them the situation and issue and let them decide what they want. I have offered my services for free for 1 million events, school events, team fundraisers, nursing home gifts, and thousands of raffle baskets, all for free. Remember, this is my second job. Money is tight. If I offer something, it's with a whole heart. I've known this child since she was an infant, and I'm upset. I want to do something beautiful for her, but I can't get over the fact that she was just so rude. I feel the mother should have corrected her. Somebody comments, maybe daughter is non-binary and wanted to come out at the party. My husband asked me the same thing. Honestly, I don't think so. That's a really random... I feel like that's a really random idea, but maybe.
Yeah. I
It also
almost
doesn't
wondered
really-
that too, because like if the baby blue and baby pink are like part of the trans
Yeah.
flag too. So,
Oh, that's true.
you know what I mean? I was like wondering like if it was part of that, but at the same time, doesn't excuse
Oh
you
well,
being
yeah.
this
That
bratty.
my point is like that's like a really random. It's like that maybe that's why she was rude. Like
yeah, definitely, yeah, doesn't excuse that.
I think if she wanted to do that, I think the mother would be open to that. I definitely would be open and would be excited to do that for her if that was her choice. I can get random pink and blue 16 items on Amazon in one day. That is correct, but that's not what she was looking for. She showed me a couple of items that she liked on Pinterest, and those specific items do not come in light pink and blue. Most of the items she was looking for were only offered in hot pink, gold, black and gold, and pink and white. I can totally add blue into the bag, but her mother said she didn't like that. I offered to do half blue bags, half pink bags, and once again, not what she was looking for. She was looking for a specific friendship bracelet that said Sweet 16 Squad, a very specific travel cup that I can cricket, but they are not offered in those colors. I'm not a manufacturer. I'm a party planner. I can't make the items come in those colors. My lack of suggestions and ideas is not the issue. She wants something they don't make, and there is an update.
Ugh.
Yeah,
Ugh,
this is, do you have any
ugh.
thoughts though?
Yeah, I just like there are such easy compromises to this.
Yeah.
Get the separate pink and blue, put them in the same bag.
There we go.
That's all you gotta do.
There we go.
If you want them to both be on something, then you like understand the situation and don't just be like, oh, just because I want this means that I can have like it can happen exactly how I expect it to. It's like no, things don't work like that, my guy. Things just don't.
But there is an update. 6 days later. Last week, I was looking for advice on a situation. I run a small party business from my home as a second job. I had offered to make Sweet 16 favors for a coworker's daughter who was having a small restaurant party. I was paying for all the supplies, and the favors were my gift. My coworker is a single mom with 5 kids. I really offered because of my relationship with the mother. We have worked together over 20 years, and I really do love her. She's had a very hard road the last few years. 2 really crappy husbands and honestly terrible taste in men. I was discussing the color scheme with the daughter and mom over FaceTime, and she had mentioned that she wanted light blue and light pink as her colors. I don't typically associate those colors with a Sweet 16. I was slightly concerned it might look like a baby shower. She was not happy with that statement and repeated light pink and light blue in a super harsh tone. A few days later, I spoke to the mother and explained to her I was having issues finding what her daughter wanted in those colors. She called her on speakerphone with me in the room, and the daughter said loudly, "What part of light pink and light blue does she not understand?" I walked away, super upset. I had planned on making her favors and then surprising her with going to the restaurant before the party and using matching tablecloths, chair covers, and fancy balloon centerpieces. The mother and I had talked about this, but the daughter did not know it was going to be a surprise. I just didn't feel like doing the extra work after she acted like that. Now, to answer all of the questions that came in, the daughter absolutely knew that this was my free gift to her. She knows there's no charge for this. She knew that I was on the call both times. A number of people thought I was rude for saying I don't like the color scheme. Unfortunately, I'm a doormat. The daughter set the tone of the conversation early on, and there was no way to get it on a positive tone. All I could think is that she didn't like having a small party and that she wanted something much bigger, but her mother cannot afford it. A number of people thought that this might be a coming out party of some kind. I know that's not it. A number of people thought I was being too sensitive, that I needed to get over rude 16-year-old. I deal with rude people every day, and I do it with a smile. Honestly, it's a gift. Being rude just means you're not happy. But I was upset because I've known this child since the day she came home from the hospital. I would have hoped I meant a little more to her. I don't think it's wrong for OP to be upset that this, 16-year-old is rude to her. Like,
I
this
totally
is a person
agree.
who matters to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can be upset even when a child is mean.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason that the child thing would like come into play is for forgiveness. You know, like it doesn't mean you have to forgive her like right away and not be upset. Like you can still be upset, but kind of, be understanding is like, okay, she's a teenager right now, not making the best decisions, but the mom needs to parent her still and still be like, hey, you can't talk to people like that.
Mhm.
So
I think it's like when like a younger child like hits you or something, like hurts
Yeah.
you, and you're like, ow, like it still hurts,
Yeah.
even though they're a child.
right.
Like obviously you're not gonna be like, how dare, like you're going to jail,
Yeah.
you committed a crime, like that they're a
Exactly.
child, but there's still like consequences. They've hurt
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Apparently I was incorrect. I know better now. A number of people thought the mom was wrong for not correcting the daughter immediately. Sadly, I agree. It was such an uncomfortable conversation. She apologized for her being a teenager when we got off the phone. I thought it was a cop-out. I definitely think the daughter has the upper hand in the mother-daughter relationship. Getting me involved is just awful. Lastly, so many people told me not to make the favors, to tell the daughter that I was unable to find what she wanted and unable to make them. I'm gonna make the favors, but I'm not doing anything else. I had budgeted $150 to make the 18 favors. To be honest with you, I'm broke. $150 is definitely something I don't need to spend, especially on a kid who was extremely rude. I totally offered, and I will absolutely make them, but I'm not going to do anything else. Let's explain me. I can't help volunteering. No matter what it is, I'm the first one to volunteer. I offer my time and my party supplies way too easily. I'm at the point now where I do more free labor work than I get paid. Even if somebody pays for the supplies, it never covers the whole thing. It always costs me something. I have to start working on getting paid parties and less free stuff, but I'm really having a hard time with so many people who are so used to getting my services for free. Last week, a woman asked me to make favors for her daughter's college bed party. In the past, she had paid for only my supplies. I explained to her that I could no longer do it, but I would have to charge her and give her a good discount. She was totally upset that I had the nerve to ask her to pay. I've done 4 or 5 things for her for free in the past, but for some reason, she felt I was in the wrong. She witched to so many people about me. How dare I charge her? Meanwhile, we're not even close friends. Yeah, the thing is, like, I think a lot of people who are in the business of, I don't know, like, just any sort of labor that they're doing, like if you're doing art or something or any sort of creative thing, you start off doing it for free because you want people to, you know, get your name out there. You want to show that you can do this. But then at a certain point, you've gotten good at it, or you need to start charging things because you financially can't afford it. And people get upset about that because they just expect that you should give them free stuff, and that's not the case.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like, I don't know. At first, I was kind of like, you know, with her saying, I can't help volunteering. I was kind of thinking that at first. Like, she was like, earlier in the story, like, this is my second job, but I offer free services to things like, you know, friends' birthday parties, school events, like football games, like all these other things.
Everything.
And I'm like, so can you call this a job? Like,
no, that's
I think this is kind of a hobby for you.
I think OP is too, like, nice.
Yeah.
Or too kind of a pushover, because if this is a job, you should get paid for it.
Yeah. So,
and you're allowed to ask for money.
Yeah. Like, you can start calling it a job. And I think she knows that. Like, she says she can't help volunteering. But yeah, I mean, friends that don't understand that, like, your services cost money,
not good friends.
Not good friends, especially if you're not even that close anyway. It's like, that's totally on them. Not fair at all. It costs money. Your time costs money. Yeah. So.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But, folks, there's a little bit more to the story.
Let's get on into it.
My Reddit family is a harsh judge. You have given me some perspective to realize that all of this is absolutely my fault, that I allowed my friend's daughter to talk to me that way, and that I'm stupid for making the favors. Oof. I just don't have it in me to not make them. But it's really pushing me to take a stand and set some kind of boundaries, because I can't keep giving away for free. It's going to be the end of me. I'm way too stressed about meeting deadlines for people for free and not taking on more paid work. Wish me luck. And there is a consensus saying that though OP is still not the a-hole, commenters start to feel like OP is the a-hole because she is such a doormat. They also said it's hard giving her advice because she won't take it. And there is an update 21 days later.
Interesting. Yeah, I could see her still doing the party favors and stuff, like maybe less for the daughter but more for her friend. You know, and be like, like, to help you out, I'll help your daughter with this. But like, I think it feels like she's learning where she needs to set boundaries.
Yes.
We just haven't put it into practice just yet.
Exactly. And let's start putting it into practice.
Please.
There is a second update, so let's get into it. 21 days later. As I explained before, I really didn't care what color she picked. I was just worried it looked like a baby shower. We had one more negative interaction, and I decided to do the favors I promised, but not do anything extra. I was thinking of going to the restaurant and setting up tablecloths and chair covers. I know this child. I've known this child since the day she came home from the hospital. I was very upset about our interactions. She knew this was free and that it was my gift to her. So the party is this weekend, and I brought the favors to work today. I made 24 pink gift bags with blue tissue paper and matching wired ribbon. Each bag has chocolate-covered pretzels, chocolate Oreos, and chocolate marshmallows, labeled chapsticks, cute pink sunglasses with the birthday girl's name on the side. My friend thinks her daughter is going to love them, which I'm happy to hear. As I walk away, she asked me if I can do one more favor for her. She wants me to make a favor bag for her boyfriend's daughter's bed party. No.
I don't like it. I don't like
OP,
it.
this is a test.
Yeah.
You're being tested,
This
OP.
is your chance to put your new skills into practice.
Bed party is for high school senior girls. Their friends bring them swag from the college they were accepted and decorate her bed with the school colors. By the way, you can decorate your life with more full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Focus Storytime. But there is a little bit left to this story. No, OP, stop. Stop.
Yeah.
You're walking into a trap. Don't fall for it.
Yeah. Like, there's such an easy way to go about it. Just be like, hey, I would love to do that, but
I'm broke.
unfortunately, yeah, I'm broke. I am so busy. I have had other problems with like friends asking too much and freaking out when I ask them to pay, but I do need to start charging for this stuff.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And any of your friends who have a problem with that are not your real friends.
Boom. Exactly.
But folks, we got a little bit left to this story. Let's see if OP puts her new skills to work. Honestly, I was floored. I have never met this girl, and no, my friend did not offer to pay for the favors. I told her, I'm sorry, but unfortunately I can't. She said she understood, but for the last few hours, things have been weird between us. The old me would have been making these favors, and the new me says no. I have to remember, no is a word. I've been pretty good about saying no to people since my last post. The only thing I have agreed to do is 2 raffle baskets for a childhood cancer fundraiser and 2 baskets for my kids' school fundraiser. Those ones are fair. I'll give you those.
Yeah.
I know I'm a work in progress, but today my friend reminded me that I need to think of me first. Consensus commenters are proud of her and baffled by her coworkers' entitlement. Very true.
Wow. That's the end of that.
That is the end of that one.
Oh my
Fuck
goodness.
that.
I refuse to move houses despite my boyfriend's demand.
You're not taking me anywhere.
I don't know how to start this. I, 27 female, have been with my fiance, 28 male, for 5 years. We just recently saved enough for a deposit on a house, and he's found this cottage in the middle of nowhere, 2 hours away from where we currently live. The thing is, I already work an hour away. I'm a nursery practitioner, and I love my workplace. I've been there since I was 20, and I've worked my way up to a room lead position. By the way, this comes from Throwaway Nowhere House. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And OP says, living 3 hours away from my job would not be ideal, but my fiance won't budge on this house. He says it's perfect within our budget and quirky enough to fit our tastes in home style. I've tried to communicate with him about this issue multiple times, bringing up the fact that there's not even any nurseries in that area that are looking for staff, and I don't want to find another job that's a bit further out, but start from the bottom again. He says it'll all work out if I just stop overthinking it. And,
Wrong.
and
What?
I've been at my current job for so long that it would be nice for me to start fresh.
Why are you choosing that? That's up to her.
Yeah, I feel like just stop overthinking it is not a...
That's not how you plan life.
She's like bringing up really good points. Like,
Yeah, she's like, where will I work? And he's like, oh, babe, you're overthinking
it'll work
it.
out.
Go
Like-
with the flow.
Yeah. Oh, man. Another issue is that I want children. They've always been a huge deal breaker for me, and I don't think it would be such a good idea to live so remotely when it comes to children, as we will have to get them to and from school or nursery before and after work every single day. The nearest school/nursery is a 30-minute drive away from the house that he wants, and we both start work fairly early and finish quite late. It will also be an issue of their freedom as they grow up, because I think it would be horrible to have to rely on your parents for transportation all the time and have to skip out on plans if they can't drive you. He really thinks I'm being dramatic about this, and I'll just figure it out. So am I the a-hole for not wanting to move so far away from my job and basically all civilization? Ask ChatGPT. And there are some comments, but what do you think, Sophia?
No, I feel like you have, brought up some really good points of like your job
Right.
and needing to be near your job.
Right. I mean, that stuff is like, very important when trying to find a place to live. Is like, okay, first of all, like, it doesn't even seem like OP wants to live somewhere remote just in general.
Yeah.
And then also, obviously, the long drive to work. And then when you have kids, like building a home there just doesn't seem like the right option for
Yeah.
them. So, those are pretty big
I feel like
things to look for.
if your partner's not on board, then we got to find a new option
Yeah, exactly. You got to
that you're both on board. with.
Right. But there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole. You two are not on the same page. You need to sort that out before you get married. Opie says, I am desperately trying to sort it out. I'm considering telling him that I will end the engagement if he continues to be unreasonable and doesn't consider my feelings on the matter. Comment number 2 says, not the a-hole. If you have joined the funds, immediately remove your contributions from the account and safeguard the money. He absolutely will use all of it to buy the cottage. His plan is to isolate you and keep you away from your network of people. OP says, luckily, I control our finances because I'm better with numbers, so I've already transferred my half of the savings into a different account. He won't even notice. He's usually very sweet and considerate, so I'm not sure what's got into him about this house. He loves my family, and we have the same friend group as we've known each other since high school, so I don't think he's trying to isolate me. Commenter number 3 says, is the house also 3 hours away from his workplace, or does he work from home? OP says he works in tech and he does go physically to work, but has the opportunity to work from home if he wants to. He says because it's worked out for him, it'll work out for me too, and I can just always find another job in a nursery. But I don't think he quite gets how difficult it is to find a genuinely good job in a great nursery that doesn't have a toxic environment and crazy high staff turnover. Someone else responds, and that's why he doesn't care about the remote location, because it does not affect him. You should think about that. Commenter number 4 says, who exactly is we who received the money for the deposit? Who did the money come from? If it came from somebody in his family, he's probably being very proprietary about how the money is spent. That isn't a partnership, and this kind of thinking will spill over into other areas of their life. If the money came from someone in your family, or if it is somehow attached to your career like a bonus, then he is a dictator who will force his ideas on you time and time again. Buying a house is a partnership. He will expect you to pay or help pay your portion of the mortgage and the upkeep, but you don't get to say in where the house is located. Is that what you want? Not the a-hole. Hope he responds, we've been saving for a while. Nobody gave us any money. I was already saving before we got together, so was he. And after a couple years together, we decided to pool our house savings for our future, which I now realize was probably a really dumb idea because we aren't married. I've actually put more in than him despite earning less because I'm happy to live a frugal lifestyle while he likes holidays and expensive cars, etc. But there is an update, but what do you think about those points that were brought up?
It seems like you guys are pretty different,
Yeah.
at least in terms of lifestyles.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there like a compromise? I don't think it's necessarily like break up level, but
Sure.
like I if you can't find a compromise, that would be,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to move forward. But I feel like, is there a compromise that can be made between these two lifestyles?
Right. And hopefully there is. I mean, hopefully, while they've been dating, there's been some sort of compromise.
Yeah.
But, we can't really confirm that, unfortunately.
No.
But yeah, I think it's just a good conversation of all of your worries need to be in order. And part of that is like, no, you just keep saying that it'll work out.
Yeah.
Because this is a good option for you. But like, that's not how it works with my job. Yeah.
And just like really be clear about you, like the fact that you care about your career and you don't want to just like not have a career anymore.
Exactly.
And to have a
feel like
career,
that's
you
fair.
have to be in this place.
Exactly. But we do have an update. Fiance and I have been together 5 years, but I've known him for 12 years. And in all of the time I've known him, and especially since we got together, he's always been sweet, taken my feelings into consideration, and hasn't actively ignored my opinion like this. It's always been a 2 yes, 1 no situation in decisions before this. We had a good relationship otherwise. We had date nights once a fortnight. We enjoyed each other's company, had aligned plans for the future, and the same ideals for a relationship. He had watched me go through a few quite bad relationships over the years before we got together, and did his best to be the opposite of my exes. Though, he's always been quite pushy when it comes to intimacy, so I guess that's an issue. But other than that, it was great, and we had actually had a lot of talks about what we wanted in a house. We had agreed that we wanted a house or cottage either the same distance away or closer to my work, a bit more remote, but still with a town or city easily accessible by public transport or car. I'm not sure why he suddenly switched to wanting a house so far out from everything and everyone we both know. We live in the UK, and a 2-hour drive can basically have you in a whole nother world. Anyway, on to the actual update. I had annual leave.
Dude, that's why 30 minutes is so long for them.
Yeah, exactly.
I was wondering. I was like, 30 minutes is not like
I know,
that
everything's
crazy.
30 minutes away. Yeah. I had annual leave from work yesterday, and my now ex-fiance was having a work from home day.
Whoa, what?
Uh-oh.
Okay,
How'd
I
we
guess
get
you
there?
guys couldn't compromise.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
The work from home day is something he's been doing more and more frequently as of late. This is another reason he is so okay with the house that he wants being where it is. because he can just switch to full-time work from home. In the morning, I sat down with him and tried to bring up the house. I laid out my points for my last post yet again and told him that I'm under no circumstances leaving my job. I love it and I do not want to search for another. I brought up the countless other houses that fit our criteria that are in our area and closer to my work, some of which we have viewed. We haven't viewed the place that he wants yet, as we haven't had time, and I told him that I do not want to, as I already know that it's not what I want. I also asked him if he really thinks it would be okay for me to have a 6-hour round commute every day, especially considering my shift starts at 8 a.m., so I would have to leave by 5 a.m. every morning and be up by around 4 a.m.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. My shifts typically finish at 5:30 p.m., so I wouldn't even be back home until 8:30.
You'd never see him.
Yeah, what? Would he be okay with doing all the childcare in the future, housework, and just everything that needed to be done because I would not be home for any of it? He didn't seem to take any of it to heart and still insisted that I could find another job, maybe one not even in childcare, and that's what finally pushed me over the edge. Childcare has been my dream since I was a little girl, and I managed to find an absolute dream of a workplace that I know many childcare practitioners would pass away to work for. How could I possibly leave that all behind when I've worked so hard for it? He told me that he's set on this house, so either I accept it or I leave.
Wow. Yeah, so I guess there was no compromise to be made
Not
here.
at all.
Why is he so set on the house?
I don't know.
Is there gold buried underneath the house?
Yeah, honestly, like, did he already buy it?
Yeah, he's like, ugh, so I got bad news for you.
Right.
The house is here,
Oh
so
my
you have to
gosh.
go.
No returns. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But you have to go to your favorite podcast app, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, whatever you choose, and search OK Storytime, because you're going to find full episodes with more stories just like this one. There is a little bit more to the story, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's what I said. I was like,
Yeah.
I guess if you guys can't compromise, it's not going to work out. And it looks
No.
like you couldn't compromise.
Can't compromise. No.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, I have to drive like an hour and a half to get here. And like, I was kind of hoping, I was glad that she clarified like what it
Yeah.
was, like whether it was 3 hours round trip or 3 hours each way.
3 hours
And the fact that
each
it's
way.
Each way is crazy.
I mean, you never see her.
You get
Like,
tired
he
of the
would never
road.
see her.
Yeah, and then just what a like depressing lifestyle that might be for her. Of just
No.
being on the road
It's
for
just not gonna
6
work.
hours a day
Yeah.
after working like what was 5:30 to 8:30. So
I just can't believe that he's choosing this house over like this person he was about to
Yeah.
marry.
yeah, because then it's like, what is he gonna actually move there
Yeah.
now that he's like not with her? Like, then what? So now he doesn't get the
Now he has
house
to-
or her.
Oh yeah, now he has to pay for the house.
Yeah.
What?
That's crazy.
Alone.
So Opie says, I chose to leave. I gave his ring back and told him that we're done, and that he's not being the sweet, considerate man I fell in love with, and I don't know why he can't see my side of things in this. I do not want to live a life with somebody that doesn't consider how I feel in all of this. This completely shocked him.
He literally said it's either me or the house.
Yeah. So
Or sorry, it's either yeah, you
yeah, the house or you leave.
Yeah. So
Crazy. So he started begging me to rethink and that we can figure something out, but I refused and went to pack my things. I'm staying with my brother and his wife now, which is nice because they live closer to my workplace, a 30-minute drive instead of an hour. And I get to spend time with my little nieces. I'm hurting, but I also feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders. I do not deserve to have my opinion valued, and he certainly did not. I guess it's onwards and upwards, as they say, but I definitely won't be dating for a long time after this.
yeah, take a beat.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, you know,
I agree.
leaving any relationship, you need some time, but after
Especially
leaving
about to get like your
an engagement, yeah, that's
Yeah.
something you'll need to take time from. But
take a minute.
but I'm glad that a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. I think that's very telling of maybe how other things felt in the relationship too,
Yeah.
without you realizing.
Yeah, absolutely.
My brother pulls scams for a living, and our parents support him.
That's bad.
I, 26 female, have two brothers, Bobby, 28 male, and Carl, 24 male. My dad, 65 male, has his own company, where Bobby is employed. Bobby still lives with my parents, with his wife. They've been married since 2021. I've been living in X country since finishing high school. I got my degree there and am currently working in the same country. Carl is working in a multinational company in our home country directly after graduating college. He's been living in another city since his employment. By the way, this comes from Throwaway0709, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. Our family has been dealing with a problem regarding Bobby. Since early 2022, Bobby works in a certain company. His task is to look for people to invest their money for certain projects. Okay. The company promised profit returns after 6 months. The problem is none of the investors have received their initial investment, and the promised profit up until this point, July 2023, according to the info I got from my parents, the amount of investments may have reached $150,000. That's a lot of money for our country.
That's a lot of money in this country. What?
I don't know whether the money was really used for the projects, but those projects weren't gaining profits as planned, or the company simply scammed people. I'm going with scammed people. Because Bobby's the one who looked for investors, those who invest are, of course, mostly people he knows.
Oh, wow.
His relationships with friends and acquaintances are ruined. Bobby's constantly bombarded with texts from people asking about their money. Some people came to our house looking for Bobby. He is often not at home to greet these investors, so my dad has to be the one to deal with them. Some even demanded my dad to pay back their money. Oh my god. I also invested about $5,000 in that company. It was a huge amount for me because I have only just started working and saving money. Yes, I was naive and short-sighted, and I trusted Bobby at that time. I was promised the investment by February 2023, but I haven't received my money until now. I don't think I will be getting my investment money back. I take this as a huge learning opportunity with quite a price. Bobby chose to continue working for that company, even though there's no hope in that company. Dad said they couldn't even pay their monthly office space rent since about June 2022, which means the company isn't getting any profit. Why does Dad know this? The debt collector went to our house and demanded the rent be paid. Bobby said he likes being in that company because the employees are young, and he gets along with them. He doesn't seem to care or feel guilty that he's made people lose their money. He often got angry at the investors because they kept on asking him about their investments. The crazy thing is, Bobby isn't paid by that company. He isn't even an employee. He's basically just a lackey. Bobby is very loyal to that company and would drive every week to another city to do things for that company. He's usually gone for 2 to 3 days. Nowadays, it's more like 5 to 6 days. He's using my dad's car and his own money from my dad to do business errands for that company. Bobby has never provided for himself. He has never really earned money in his life, maybe a little. On paper, he's still working for my dad. Dad still pays his salary, which is higher than normal wages for his competence monthly. Even though he didn't do any work for him due to him being so invested in that scamming company. Dad said Bobby doesn't want to apply for work. He only works for people who offer him a job, who will, of course, exploit him because he's desperate and stupid enough to take that job. I think Bobby just doesn't have any confidence in him. Bobby also had a history of working for an MLM. I used to send money to my family, including Bobby, monthly. I would transfer the money to his account, and he would distribute it to my parents and Carl. Back then, when I first started sending money home, I gave him instructions on how to divide the money. Basically, everyone got a fifth, and the last fifth was used for house supplies and groceries. During my last holiday at home, I asked Mom how much money Bobby gave her that month, and it was less than a fifth. Moreover, Mom also told me that his wife doesn't know that he gets money from me every month. Dad also said that his wife may not know that Bobby got bonus money from my dad, even though he doesn't do any work for Dad. Which means Bobby can't be trusted about money anymore. I don't think Bobby could have ever been trusted about money, from the sounds of it.
I don't think anyone in your family can be trusted about money right now. What's going on? Including you. Why are you still paying your brother?
Yeah.
What's going on?
What are we doing?
What's going
You
on?
said the title of this was that your parents still support Bobby. You still support Bobby.
You just said you're still paying him.
After the conversations with my parents, I stopped sending Bobby money and transferred any money home to Dad's account. Another thing about money. Bobby has borrowed money from Carl and probably from other people as well, which he hasn't returned yet. The more annoying side of this problem is Bobby starts to act more and more like a man-child. He's often irritated and angry at Dad, Mom, and his wife. He ruined my last holiday at home with his tantrums. It got to a point where I don't want to spend my precious holiday time with him in the future. Bobby also has made Mom cry multiple times through his actions and words. Bobby is one of the major reasons why Dad is constantly stressed to the point of him having digestion problems. Dad still has to keep on working, even at 65, to provide everything, even though he's supposed to enjoy his life at that age. I think Bobby doesn't have any friends anymore because of his scamming company. He used to have a lot of friends and hang out with them often. No one's on his side now besides the scamming company and maybe his wife. I think even his wife is now starting to get sick of him. My parents are worried about Bobby's relationship with his wife. I do sense a divorce coming if Bobby doesn't get his act together. I mean, I wouldn't be able to put up with what his wife has to go through. Bobby and his wife had only been dating for about 2 months before they decided to get married. I think Bobby hasn't provided anything, or very little, financially to his marriage. His wife works at her mother's company, so she is not financially dependent on him. Bobby is charismatic and has a way with words. I think that's why his in-laws were convinced to marry their daughter off to him. Oh.
Oh.
So it might have been arranged.
An arranged marriage.
I asked his mother-in-law jokingly why she let them get married after such a short period of dating. She said he is mature. He does give off that vibe. Bobby's in-laws are now utterly disappointed in him.
I mean, like, rightfully so.
During a video call with my parents yesterday, they told me that Dad and Bobby have made an agreement. By the end of 2023, Bobby needs to make a choice. Stay in the shady company and not get paid by Dad anymore. Work with my dad with a higher salary. Yeah, I know Dad still desperately wants Bobby to work in his company. Work somewhere else if Bobby decides to work for Dad's company. Dad will somehow find a way to help him with the lost investment money, which means Dad will pay back the victim's money. Not all of them, only those that Dad knows personally, but still.
I'm only paying by the people we scammed personally.
Only the ones that can come and be mad at us,
Yeah,
though.
the people whose faces I do not know,
I
we'll
don't
never
care
see their
about
money
them.
again.
I find this to be the most baffling thing Dad has ever said regarding this whole thing. How is Bobby supposed to learn from his mistakes and go through the consequences if Dad bails him out all the time? Another big what the F moment. Dad plans to build Bobby a house so he can live there with his wife. The problem is Bobby clearly doesn't want to work for my dad. He told my mom that he's jealous of me and Carl because we can do whatever we want. Well, we don't. We obeyed Dad to a certain degree, but then tried to make something good out of the situation. Bobby just wallows up in his whole woe is me attitude and blames Dad for all his traumas. I told Dad to stop giving Bobby any money anymore so Bobby can learn some consequences and snap out of it. But Dad said, you shouldn't be cruel to family. He doesn't have the heart.
You're being cruel to him by, keeping him in a perpetual state of helplessness.
He doesn't have the heart to just cut his financial support for Bobby, and also said, I can't do this to my own child. I am torn between feeling frustrated, angry, and sad. Frustrated with Dad for enabling Bobby, angry towards Bobby for treating my parents and his wife like crap and taking advantage of them because he knows they won't leave him, and sad that I'm kind of losing my older brother, that he's no longer his old self. Bobby's actually a nice and dependable person. I think he's lost, depressed, and ashamed of himself, but doesn't know what to do. I used to call Bobby often. After the investment thing, he stopped contacting me. I think out of fear of being asked about my money. By the way, you should never fear running out of episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's how many days, Dakota?
69?
Start listening.
Nothing funny about that.
Nothing at all. Right now, I honestly don't have the mental and emotional capacity to keep any contact with him. I also grew to loathe video calls with my parents because I know they will vent about Bobby, and I will be left angry and frustrated for the next days or even weeks. I am angrier that they can't see the problem with them enabling Bobby's behavior. I really don't know what to do at this point. I feel bad for everyone involved to varying degrees, but don't see any way out without Bobby changing himself. And I think every sensible person knows that we can't change a person unless that person wants to. I only have 3 questions for my fellow Redditors. Maybe someone could give me different perspectives on this whole mess. I plan to do an honest talk with Bobby. Will that make a difference for the better, or should I just remain silent? Is there a way I can make my parents, especially my dad, realize that their behavior is contributing to Bobby's reluctance to change? What can Bobby do to improve his situation? That's the end of that.
Take responsibility and have personal accountability and like cold water. This is a cold water moment. You can't continue to do the same thing, which is like, it's okay, Bobby. Like, we'll figure it out. It needs to be like, you really messed up, Bobby. And now it's like a make or break moment where you need to fix it.
Right.
Bootstrap up.
The issue is
Cowboy
OP has
time.
done that. OP's stopped sending them money. It's like fully their dad now.
Yeah, and if that's going to be the case, then I don't know. There's not anything you can do about it. He's still his own person. He's an adult. He's going to be able to make his own decisions and take his own actions. And if he decides to not change and not take any action, then there's not much else you can do about it.
Yeah.
Other than removing
it
yourself
stinks.
from the equation.
I feel like it's kind of just like you're stuck until someone else like snaps onto your side, and then you guys have like manpower.
Yeah.
Go for his wife. Get his wife on your side.
Get him. Get his
Yeah.
wife.
Get her.